Hey everybody, Josh Turner here. Just got done eating dinner and I was like, you know what? We're right here by the studio. We got a new ferret, a couple of them. They're running all over the office studio up here, playing, having fun. Anthony's getting acquainted with them. And so I just thought, you know what? We're right here at the studio. Why don't we just do a live? I don't know how many people will get this late on a Saturday night on just jumping on here and saying stuff. But, yeah. So, I got a show for you. And we're not going to, I just address some drama or whatever, but I'm going to tell you something. Let me say something real quickly. This isn't what the show's going to be about. I'm going to do a show. We're going to talk. We're going to have some fun here tonight. We're going to do some stuff. We're trying to figure out what we're going to name the ferrets. I said my wife said White Claw and whiskey. Such a contrast, right? White Claw and whiskey. But I think we're going to go with, what is it?
Stogie. He says now I think he wants the light one to be Daisy and the other one to be Stogie.
Daisy?
Daisy and Stogie. That's what I said.
Hey, boy, ain't right. Daisy and Stogie. Okay. It's whatever. Do you want to make it a post on Facebook?
Yeah.
So we're here. We're here, loud and clear. We're not going nowhere. Okay. Audio is great. So, just real quick, I'm not going to waste a bunch of time. I got some stories to tell. See, here's the thing. We're not doing a Friday podcast right now. We're kind of taking a hiatus from that. We're only doing the live stream, which is like Tuesday live stream. So I thought, I have all these stories backed up, dude. Why not just tell some? Why not just come on here and give you what you want? Tell some stories. And if anybody in the chat wants to tell a story or something you want to call in, let's do that. First thing I want to do, though, I want to address what was said earlier on Facebook real quickly. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on it. But if anybody is threatening this person that I said something about earlier, please stop. Out of respect for me and Ryan, okay, please stop. All right? This person, I mean, you can voice your opinion all you want, but I draw the line at threats. If anybody is threatening this person, that is totally unacceptable. And if I find out, we're not friends. No, that just, non-negotiable. I'm not going to allow threats, okay? That we don't do that. You want to talk crap, mean, whatever, I don't give a, say whatever. But yeah, that's the thing. The other thing is, too, the thing with me and Abe is over, okay? 2 days ago. We talked it out. We worked it out like men. We talked and, it's over. He apologized. I apologized for my part. Like I said, I didn't start it. But he admitted it. He said, yeah, I started it. I jumped on there and I said something. When I was on there talking with the DFT, that's the guy, that's his initials on Facebook. You can figure out who he is. He said some nasty things, and he was making a bunch of mean posts or whatever. Who cares, dude? As long as he's not talking about my wife or my family. And don't say things like, you're glad my ferret's dead. I don't care. Say what you want. But this person last night, I just wanted to know what was said, because some nasty things were said about Elijah Henderson. And then I found out that they said things about Barton and me, and there again, I don't give a crap what you say about me. Say whatever you want. Throw down. Aquaman. Ooh. You give a crap, honestly. So, yeah, hit the like button, like and subscribe. We got patreon.com, /PRT podcast, and Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com. That's the email address. We have a Facebook group. It's Paranormal Round Table group, whatever. Join it. And, here's the thing. I want to say something else about the cryptid community. Everybody's like, the cryptid and paranormal communities, or cryptid paranormal community, what do you want to call it, is rife with strife and all kinds of. Dude, I have a friend who does, gaming. And he's like, dude, there's all kinds of crap. The gaming community is horrible. They're always bashing each other, talking crap. The other day I was on Facebook and I was watching this video. And the guy was talking about a hotel where you pay $100,000 a night to stay there. And I was like, what? And so I was watching it, and it was the ugliest, grossest place ever, but just so expensive. It's like these big ballers just like, I'm going to go there and stay there just so I could say I'd stay there because it's expensive. So this guy was talking about 100,000, and at the end, he named some guy, which I'm not going to repeat the guy's name, but he says, and you, so-and-so, you know, we're not cool, just so you know, we're still beefing. And I was like, geez. It happens, dude. You know, like my friend Eric Konevsky. Okay, he's got a beef right now with somebody. He's the one that does the prank videos. Is a Russian gangster. He's part of Strength Mafia, the Strength Mafia, whatever. And he's fighting with another dude. You know, which I don't know the other guy's group, Muscle Posse. I don't know, some crap. School of Gains. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, there's some other group, and they're beefing, and they got their own internet beef. He stepped up to this dude, and now they're beefing, whatever. He was telling me about it, you know, and it's not my place to get on there and say a bunch of crap. I know who he's talking about. I don't want to say the name, but I don't know the guy's group or whatever. But there's beats all over the place. It happens everywhere. You know, this isn't like, you know, oh, it's just you know, whatever. And there's people that have channels and they don't say anything and they let stuff go. The problem is that good people get hurt all the time in these things that people say. And when you open your mouth and you say stuff about people, somebody's going to call you to the floor on it. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, if you're gonna pop off, somebody's going to pop off back. I mean, they're going to pop off. I mean, it's going to happen. Anunnaki, bro. She can post screenshots all she wants. I got them all right here. I could read them if I wanted to. I could sit here and read them. I didn't say anything mean to this person today, so she can post screenshots all day long. Don't care. Don't give a crap. The stuff that was being said, I kept saying over and over again. If she would post the stuff she said and not just what I said. She posted on what I said at the very end when I fucking had gotten tired of her crap, and I said something. You know, when I had my freaking limit, you know, then she posted that. She didn't post all the crap that was said before that. Okay, but here's the thing: when you talk about Elijah Henderson, you talk about Parmer Ln, you're talking about my boys, and I'm not. I don't care. After her, there'll be someone else that'll say something. But you know what'll happen? Eventually, these people will learn to be quiet. You don't like me? Bite me. Stay out of here. Stay out of my way. And if I ask a simple question, don't come at me, you know, trying to flex on me. Talking a bunch of crap. My brother hit the nail on the head. He said she's been waiting for an opportunity to say something to you. You know? She has been. So, yeah, people just sit back and wait like a spider. So, that being said, I'm going to tell you a story really quick before we jump into this. This is about a spider. I had a friend of mine who cleaned out his garage, and he claims that his wife threw, and I say he claims, but I believe him. I mean, I know this guy. I've known him for a while. But he lives up there in the Dallas area. But he says that he had a spider the size of his hand, like this big, a spider. And he couldn't identify what kind it was because his wife threw a book on it as it crawled toward them while they were cleaning out their garage. So don't wait too long to clean out your garage to where these things can sit there and breed. He said that the web was huge. It was like a web, and there were like crickets, and there was like just piles of dead insects in there. And then somebody came along and said, would you like us to smash those into a protein bar for you? We can make those into a delicious snack for you to enjoy. Crickets and roaches are high protein dense creatures, and you should consume them. Not going to eat that. Okay, what do you think I am, an animal? You think I'm an evolutionary made dog man? Is that what you think? Everybody's talking crap about this dog man. Here's the thing. I saw a thing. Thank you for that, Brady Matsunaga. Thank you for that donation. Sorry you couldn't make the conference. I saw a chat on there, and it was crazy. This one particular person was saying a bunch of crazy stuff on Facebook. Let's see if I can find it. But it was in one of the groups, and I thought it was so ridiculous, dude. I was just like, this is nuts, dude. Arguing that Dogman will not hurt you. Let me see if I can find it, because it's kind of far back there. And she said that she had them on her property. I think it's right here. She said, okay, I'm not going to even get into what Jeff said. Jeff just said that something from, DME, of course, some silly. And he said that he's also, if it wanted to kill me, it would have easily. Also, you're thinking you can shoot at it, blah, blah, blah. It's talking about Dogman. And this person says, I have to disagree a bit here. I spent 7 months in the North Woods, Michigan. Just me and my dog. For 3 months, a Dogman watched my camp. I was on 8 acres alone. It left handprints on my window, walked across top of my camper, would visibly make itself known to me. Yes, they are telepathic. They do have the grin, but I believe it's a defense mechanism. They have observed us long enough to know what triggers fear. I must say I did not show fear and communicated good vibes to this cryptid. In the end, I felt more protected than anything. Now, I'm not saying that they are all as amicable as the one I interacted with, but not every cryptid or Dogman is out to terrorize us. Yes, they are scary and can be intimidating, but I'm convinced that their energy depends on our own and how we react. My own observations. You, the guys that are my PRT people, you know what I'm thinking right now. You're just like, wow, that's incredibly stupid. We got a bunch of other stuff here. And then this person says, the one near me protected me, in quotation marks, protected me too. It scared off all male friends that were just friends. One ran through a group of us walking, and they run so fast, all you see is a blur. They've convinced few kids they were friends and wanted a plate of food. These kids went up to the food table and made up whatever they wanted on the plates and took them back to the bushes where these Dogmen joined the feast at our family reunion of over 50 people. Okay, they didn't come out of the bushes, though. I tried to climb a tree directly over the bushes. I don't think they were happy about me in their space. And a hand grabbed my ankle and knocked me out of the tree. No children were nearby to grab my ankle. I was probably 6 years old. Okay, so a bunch of Dogmen. They fed a bunch of Dogmen. I told this person, I said, these are not animals, period. If what you say is true, then you're lucky you didn't go missing. And this person says, not my first encounter, dear. I'm up here in the National Forest, Manistee, whatever. I have had 3 encounters with different ones. Didn't say that they were all nice and cuddly. And you're able to pet them. I said the one I had here at the camp for 3 months did not harm me. I didn't say they were all cute, blah, blah, blah. I go out with my team, and I know, she actually said blah, blah, blah. In my team, I know people in my cryptid community, they will tell you I'm not a liar and I'm not stupid. I've had no bad encounters yet at this point. Not saying that I ever will, but the ones that I have had pretty much left me alone. Yeah, and then I told them to listen to our show Tuesday. They listened to our guest, who's a former policeman, who's going to tell you a crazy story about these things. But, you know, and then this person, same here, hon, grew up near them, played with them, spoke to them. They went for walks with us. I could go on and on. After 20 years being near them, you just know they are there and not out to hurt us. But they will protect their babies at all costs. There is a big difference between these native Dogmen and a beastly evil werewolf. The native Dogmen used to have their own space and can farm land. They can do all the things we can if left alone to live a free life without humans wanting to wipe them out. Okay, and after that, I've heard enough. So you understand. Oh, where am I reading this from? It's a group. I don't know if I should say it, but it's in a group on Facebook. It's one of the Dogman groups. Yeah, they went on walks. They're all like, I knew him in a way you never did. See, I walked with them and talked with them. I used to bring them over to my house for dinner. I'd even bathe them in the dog bath at my apartment complex. I can even hear them calling my name right now. There they are. That's the ones. The only complaint they had when I cooked them dinner, they didn't like stovetop stuffing. And it wasn't all stovetop stuffing. It was just the one kind with the parsley and stuff, and they don't eat vegetables. They only eat starch because they don't eat meat either. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and stovetop stuffing. Delicious. That's about as believable as your freaking stuff here. People are freaking crazy. I don't want to flash it too fast, but yeah. So anyway, that's in one of the groups. I don't want to get kicked out of the group because I get information from it, so I'm just... So, I don't have an agenda here, folks, other than to get to the truth. So I'm going to tell you a story, but I want the listeners here to tell me what they want to hear. I got a story about little people, and I got a story about a ghost. That's right, a ghost. Somebody's making a joke the other day, and they're like, who cares about a ghost? Like, I'm not scared of a ghost. Like, why would you be scared of a ghost? Because some of these ghosts are really, really, really bad. Not ghosts. Titan here says, thank you for the donation. Josh, do you find it interesting that the dogman encounters, when seen at night, can pierce straight through headlights, a lock onto people's eyes? How are they doing this? Your thoughts, blessings on you and yours. Thank you, Titan. I enjoyed seeing you at the conference. Let me reread that again. So at the bottom there, they can pierce straight through headlights, a lock onto people's eyes. How are they doing that? Because they're not just regular critters. See, if they were a regular animal, they wouldn't be able to do that, would they? They wouldn't. So here's a story I got, because we talked about the mall the other day. We had on there the mall stories, and what ended up happening was somebody sent me a story and said I was in a shopping mall, and they were in a very large department store. This happened in Houston. And they went into a gift store, and I got two of them from the same mall. And this one, they went into the gift store, and they said when they were looking at shirts, a woman came up to them to ask if they needed help. They said, "Okay, thank you. If you need me, let me know." And so then, the woman was very distinct looking, strawberry blonde hair. She was short. She was whatever. They turned around, they went up to the counter after they got what they were looking for, and there was a guy that was helping at the counter. And the guy asked, did somebody offer to help you today, whatever? I said, yeah, there's the girl that was over there, whatever. And the guy kind of looked puzzled, and he was like, the girl? I said, yeah, it was a young lady over here. She had a shirt on that had like a Misfits, whatever. And he was like, there's no girl that works here right now. There's only two of us here, and they're both males. And he's like, well, I saw maybe somebody was, messing with us or whatever. He's like, well, he goes, there's nobody in here. They're the first customers of the day. There's no other people in there. They walked around the store. He kind of looked around, confused. So it was really weird. And then after that, the one guy came from the back, and he said, dude, there's no, what did this person look like? And when they started to describe this person, he said, oh yeah, that's a ghost. He's like, I don't know who this person is, if it's somebody who used to work here. He's like, nobody died here that I know of, but one day I was coming out of the office and something grabbed my ankle. Or his leg. He said, like, his leg right below his knee. And so when this thing grabbed him, he stopped and almost tripped, but he stopped moving, and he was just like, there's a hand on my under my knee. Like from behind. And see, now I know Scorpion, that happened to him at the Church of the Forgotten from that story. So whenever this person grabbed him, he freaked out. He was at the end of the night, he was closing up, and this thing, it was so powerful that it began to pull him back into the office, which scared the crap out of him. He temporarily quit. Then he went and he ended up getting a prescription for something that helps you relax. And he came back to work because he needs the job. And the manager told him, look, we've had a few weird things happen here, you know. They gave him a small raise. He stayed on. Well, this person said, dude, this thing was, this was like, this. If this was a ghost, it was amazing, because he said it looked like a real person. Like an actual person. Full body, full whatever. And then here's another one from the same mall. This is the person told me that they were there at that same mall with their cousin, and that they went into the bathroom. And when they went into the bathroom, he was sitting in a stall, and the bathroom, the way the bathroom was, it was like the woman's bathroom was on the other side, and he heard a yell, like a scream. So he jumped up, you know, didn't even get to do his business, and he ran to his female cousin was running for her life, scared out of what happened. So that he saw what looked like a man walking, like, you know, you can see through the crack of the door or whatever, and saw like a dude walk by. Clearly it was a male. Heard the stall open next door, and then walked, saw the shoes, and then the next thing you know, she looks back and there's no shoes. There's no person sitting in the stall next to her. What she did feel was hands on her legs, like holding her down. Like somebody was right in front of her. She could feel breath, couldn't see anything. She screamed. And this thing was like, it had like hands on her legs. She finally got loose, jumped up, and was out, just ran out of there. Left her purse and everything. The cousin had to go in there and get it. So yeah, really weird, wild stuff. Got another one. This one was given to me. This happened up down in Beaumont, Texas. I get some weird stories out of there. Guy ran in a rec yard. Said he worked there for a long time, and he went to go pick up a vehicle. And so he was driving, and he was like, you know, driving down the highway. And he gets to the vehicle, the call for the vehicle. It was called in by the police. They said, hey, can you come pick up this vehicle? There's been a wreck. It was a fatality. But it was weird because at the time he didn't know it was a fatality. And there was a guy standing there, and he was bleeding from his head. He was just like, dude, he's like, my vehicle. I don't know what to do, my vehicle. You know, he just kept saying, he goes, my car. And he kept saying, he's like, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. This is my car. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he just kept telling the guy, just calm down, relax, you know, whatever. And he was looking around for the police, and the police were just kind of standing there nonchalant while he's having a conversation with this guy. And the one cop walks over to him, and he turns around, he looks, and the cop, you know, walked over to where the guy was, and he looked, he didn't see the guy. And the police officer's like, can we help you? And he says, no, I'm here to pick up the vehicle, but this guy keeps talking to me. And he's like, what do you mean, what guy? He's like, well, it was a one-car fatality. He lost control, he flipped his car, whatever. I see, you know where I'm going with this. And so the police officer says, there's only one person involved, and there's nobody else here but us. And he says, well, I just saw a man. It was wearing a gray hoodie, whatever. And the cop was like, whoa. He's like, because that person that just got taken away, that's what they were wearing. And he gave a description. The police officer was like, that's him. He said he nearly fainted. And he said that one of the hardest things he had to do on that job was pick up cars that looked like they've been crushed, like an accordion. And he had to take them and put them, and the hardest ones are the fatality. So that's a crazy story. And I've got a couple like that with tow yard people. A guy up in Michigan told me about a story when he was working at a tow yard. And one day he came on, he was the night guy, the dispatch. And he came on and he saw a guy walking around. There was one area that was kind of cordoned off. It was for the fatalities, where all the vehicles were absolutely just destroyed. And he was looking at the camera and he was like, there's a guy walking around out there. It was really bizarre. He goes, how'd that guy get back to? How did he get in the yard? So they had like a sliding window and he opens it and he says, sir, you can't be out here. And the guy points at a vehicle. It was a Mustang. It was all destroyed. And he says, that's my car. He's like, you need to call somebody because I need to get this, And he's like, that car's totaled. So you can't be back here. So he looks down to go and grab the phone to call somebody. Looks back, the guy was gone. So he had to go out to that tow yard with a flashlight and go walking around in the dark, 2 and 3 in the morning, whatever it was. He said it was like between 2 and 3. And there was nobody there. But he said when you walk through that area, because all the hair on your arms and legs just stood up. It was like you were, It's crazy. But I know, because I've been at a couple tow yards where I walked over to the area where the fatality vehicles were. And you do get that weird sensation. A friend of mine told me a story last night. I'll give you this one too. What was it, Perry? He said he was living in Louisiana, right? Yeah. So one of my business partners owns a security company. We work together. And he subcontracts for me. I subcontract for him, blah, blah, blah. This guy went out he was living in Louisiana. And he was going down the stairs of his townhome. He gets to the bottom of the stairs, and he sees a guy sitting on his couch. Now he's black, and the guy he saw was a white guy. And he was like, he said, we looked at each other, and he goes, the guy looked startled, and he goes, I got an intruder in my house. There used to be a cop there. And so he was like getting ready to grab his weapon, and like, what is this guy doing in my house? Is this some crackhead, meth head, whatever? And he said the guy just vanished. Isn't that what he said? Yeah.
Yes.
And then another one he told me, he said he was on a property, and he never told me these before. But we started talking last night about ghosts and stuff, and we were working on a job together. And he said that he had a situation where he saw like he was talking to a client, and the client that was the manager of the apartment complex, like, because he told me, he said one time he thought he saw somebody in the back of the car. But he said that one day, out of the blue, this client, apartment manager, says, I just want you to know that I can see things. And he's like, okay, that's nice. It's good that you can see. She says, no, I mean, like, I can see things that other people can't see. And he said it creeped him out. And she was like, you have a man that sits in the back of your car. Ain't that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what did the thing do?
Right.
I don't know if y'all could hear Nelly. Say it louder.
waved.
It waved.
Back at them.
So when you wave to get in your car to say goodbye, the man turns around and waves at me. And I told him, I said, that may be the guy that you saw in your house. But he had an interesting theory, and I wanted to get into this just for a second. He said, and this is really weird, right? He said that what if these hauntings are actually people intersecting different timelines? Different timelines and different realities, like alternate realities, like coming together. Boom. And I've thought about that because there was one, and this one was in Indiana. It was in, oh man, I had the name of the town. I have the story. I know what the story is, but it was one I studied, and I can't remember the name of the city. But I had it. I told you the name of the city, and I can't remember what it was. And it was in Indiana. We were talking about it last night because I had it on my. I can look it up, but anyway, maybe I can find it. Maybe I can't. But anyway, there was a family that was living in a 2-family domicile, like a duplex, and both sides of that duplex were having issues, and they were seeing around their house these ghosts on both sides. It was like the same. And I thought it was interesting because they were seeing themselves. It was really weird. And I thought they're seeing doppelgangers of themselves, and these spirits of themselves are like surprised when they'd see them. They'd kind of look like, whoa, they're startled. And then they heard people like yell, like, stuff like that. One of the guys told me, well, it was a guy and a girl, but the guy told me, he said, dude, my neighbors were having the same thing happen. They were seeing themselves on the other side. He said these spirits or whatever they were, they would look like flesh and blood humans, and then they would be startled and they would disappear. They would always look shocked or surprised, and a couple times they even like yelled. And when you listen to the case, it sounds like they're interacting with their parallel selves. Like they are the ghosts to the other side. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's correct or not, but it's like, if you stop and you think about it, they are they're you, from an alternate world. And it's crazy to think about, but I mean, I'm convinced that alternate realities, parallel universes, that they exist. Somebody says, was the doppelganger's eyes black? I'd have to go back and reread that story. I don't remember anything about black eyes. Really, really creepy stories. Yeah, Overbuilt Automotive says Jeffrey's Dogman Encounter YouTube had, I guess you're talking about Jeff Adolny, I don't know, had a guy named GW on today that was talking like it was sort of nice, clean, well-groomed, hate to go to stuff, and did not finish listening to it. Sounds like a deception. If that's true, I mean, it probably was. Michael says, can a dog man fix a 57 Chevy? I don't know. Maybe you could try. Like I said, donations are appreciated but not expected. Ever since this conference, folks, man, I have just been having, I've been overwhelmingly positive. 92%. But the 8%, I want to say 8% because I don't want to say it's 10. I'd like to believe it's less than that, but I've been getting flack from these people. Hate. Absolute venom. Hate. Just, and I honestly think that's part of what was going on with this other person. Just angry. Just mad. I asked a simple question of my friend, and he asked her, and it was just, wow. And now I'm being told that, oh, it's going to get bad. It's already there. Doesn't have to. Could be. Or could be not too. It's up to you. I want to bring on somebody tonight. I'm going to make a freaking call. I'm going to call somebody. There's all these people in the field, this dog man, these people in the field, and what they do is just, they get monies from people in the dog man. And I live in New Jersey, and I walk around, I see stuff in the leaves and in the trees, and I walk around, dog man. You shouldn't be making money from it. I like Fritos. Why are they not free? I like going to Six Flags. We should all go for free. Absolutely. You're right. Should all be free. Ain't nobody getting nothing for free. All right? So before we go any further, I'm going to make a message real quick. I'm going to have people come on. We're going to talk. If anybody wants to tell a story tonight, let me know. Like in 20, 30 minutes. I'm here. I made it. Here's your money. Here's your money. You're too late. You made me mad. I gave you 3 minutes. You said 30 on the phone. Nah, I beat you. Jeez, that's unreasonable. I break your legs. He's sicking the dog mount on you. Stupid. You had your chance and you blew it. Let's say hello to my little dog man friend. No. You've all heard the story, right? Drug dealer ends up with a dog man. Anybody heard that story? I thought it would be a viable story to tell on the show until I heard 3 others like it. So I'm like, oh, these people are just buying dog man and feeding people to them. And somebody told me, where's the proof that these things attack people and blah, blah, blah? Well, where's the proof that we, anything? It's not. There's no proof that they're nice either, and giving people apples and, oranges, and they're giving them to them. Asking if the audio sounds good.
Hello, Josh Turner.
Hey, what's up, Elijah Henderson? How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm real good. I'm staying safe from, all kinds of dog men and skinwalkers and them doing all types of ill stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. There, you gotta be safe.
Are you staying safe from them too?
I'm here in my warm, safe house where, as far as I know, there's nothing of the sort.
Good. That's awesome. That's all amazing. So I just wanted to talk to you because you were on a documentary called American Werewolves, right? With Seth Breedlove.
Yes, sir. And if anybody hasn't seen that, you really should go check it out. I'm not saying that because I was in it. Just Seth and Heather, they put that together just beautifully. It's like a retro documentary. I'm a sucker for the retro stuff, and it looked great, man.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I haven't even had a chance to watch it because I've been so busy. But Seth is really good friends with my good friend Lyle Blackburn, and we were coming back from the conference, which you attended. And you also had your birthday at the conference.
I did. I turned 26 the other day, and I'm excited for those gray hairs that should be coming in soon.
26? Dude, I didn't start getting any grays until I was like 44, 45, and I got like a little bit, whatever, but they're not too bad, but I'm getting a little bit up here, But
all right.
Yeah, I mean, you could end up in your 40s and not have it. It just depends on genetics. Your dad didn't really seem to have a lot of gray, did he?
Well, he actually got pretty gray by the end there. It pretty well, looked really cool.
Yeah. I guess he's such a handsome guy, I didn't really notice that. Oh, here we go. Is this, which one? We don't know the names.
Talking about haunted places earlier, he actually lived in a haunted apartment for about a year or so.
Johnny did?
Yeah, it was a creepy place.
Yeah, he told me something about living in a haunted place, but we never got that far into that part of it because we were doing research on different projects.
I'll tell you about the time, man, because it was a creepy place from what he described.
How old was he when that happened?
I think it was sometime before 94. Yeah, I think it was about 93 or so, because my sister was born in 94, and I think it was right about the time him and my mom started dating, so it's probably 92, 93.
Well, your mom, the late April Henderson, and I got to meet your grandmother, I got to meet your aunt, and I got to meet your cousin, and Wanda. She's great people, nice people. They were so generous, so nice. They wanted me to eat cake, and I was like, "Look at me. Do I look like I need to be eating cake?" And I'm like, I was like, I'm the last person needs to be gobbling up, Elijah's cake. So I didn't want to, and it wasn't anything, no offense to you. The cake looked beautiful. It looked delicious, but I was like, golly, I'm already like, I'd gained about 24 pounds before the conference. So I was just like, no, I don't need to be shoving cake in my pie hole over here.
I gained 20 pounds from that cake.
Nelly had a piece. I know that. So I had a question for you. So when they did this documentary, and you've been researching the LBL since you were a kid, right?
We've been going out there since I was a kid. I was actually talking to somebody about that earlier today. At least since I think 2010 or 11, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, around where that family got attacked, it wasn't until a few years after that, but we would go and do Bigfoot outings and whatnot. Even found a footprint down around the south area. I think it was Wallace Cemetery, somewhere down in the south. Still not quite sure how to get back to that, but it's around there somewhere. Looks like a Evil Dead style cemetery. It's real creepy looking.
Maybe that's where the Deadites are coming from.
Exactly.
The Evil Dead. This is my boomstick. Next one of you primates touches me.
Groovy.
So let me ask you a question. Now, knowing the LBL, and you were on that documentary. The south end of the LBL, correct me if I'm wrong, that's Bigfoot territory, right?
Yeah, the south end tends to be where you get your Bigfoot activity, and in the northern end, that tends to be where you get your dogman activity. However, there has been, we found what looked like a Bigfoot footprint up in the north, near around where that family was attacked. So I think it kind of, they move around back and forth, but majority you find this dogman up in the north, Bigfoot toward the south.
That's kind of like Devil's Backbone. It's east-west. The dogmen are more west, and the Bigfoot sightings are more to the east, and then there's Goatman on Purgatory Road.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a question, though, about that. When you guys live more toward the north, right?
Well, actually, we live more toward the south. I'm based out of Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And down Highway 79 toward the Dover side, which is in the south. Go up to the South Welcome Station, shoot all the way up to the Trace. It's a long trip all the way from the bottom to the top, but yeah, we come in from the Dover side generally and just shoot all the way to the top, spend however long we need to do up there, go down, back to Clarksville.
Is it too loud?
It's kind of echoing.
It's echoing. Oh, okay. We don't want that. No. Electrocution. We don't want that. So, Shop Smart. Shop S Smart.
You got that?
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Elijah. So when was the first time that you went out with your dad and your sister Gabby? Y'all go out there searching, your parents. You guys all kind of did it like a family. I went out there and searched. How old were you when you first started going out to the LBL?
Well, to the LBL itself, I was probably between 13 and 15, but I've been in the researching in the woods since I was about 5 or 6 or so. But that was over around Montgomery Bell, Werewolf Springs area. But Land Between the Lakes, like I said, we used to go down there. I remember for one of my birthdays, I was actually down there. We rented a cabin up at Wrangler's Camp, which a few months back, us and Barton Unley actually rented that same cabin in Wrangler's Camp and stayed there and did a little research. That was while my dad was still alive. But it's that same cabin, and we went over to Wallace Cemetery. And Wallace Cemetery, we went back there because I wasn't present for this, but my dad and a couple other people and my sister were down there, and they started blowing a silent dog whistle, and they started hearing all this whistling coming from the woods, and they said it sounded like something blowing air through like big flat human teeth or big flat teeth, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they'd whistle, it'd whistle back at them, and this would go back and forth. And well, a day or so later, they go back down there. Again, I was not present for this. And before they even got the whistle out, this thing started whistling back at them like it was almost playful, like it was wanting them to get the whistle back out. And I guess they whistled back and forth at it again. But that's why we'd go down to Wallace. And when I went down there for my birthday, we got the picture somewhere. It would have been a juvenile, but human-like footprint in the mud down there. And this is a back road. More than likely, nobody barefoot out here. That this was down a path going through the woods up to part of the lake. This would have been on. Well, actually, I'm not sure which lake it would have been, but either way, it would have been more than likely nobody would have been barefoot out there.
Yeah. And the footprint, did it look like a Bigfoot footprint, or?
It would have been in a Bigfoot style. I mean, that kind of human style look. So unless somebody was back there barefoot, which I can't imagine they would be, then it would have been a Bigfoot.
Let me ask you a question, like, okay, because my nephew's got a size 16 foot. My nephew Zane, he's a big kid, and he's about my height, and he's just big. He's a big kid. He's about 300 pounds. But he's got a huge foot. And so how long was the Bigfoot foot, like, do you think?
Well, that was quite a ways back, so I don't want to say specifically because I can't remember for sure anymore. But it definitely looked like if it was a Bigfoot, it would have been a juvenile because it wasn't extremely big.
And how old were you when this happened?
It was 2011. I think I was 14 or 15 at the time. So not extremely old, but maturing, I guess.
Yeah. And since you've been up there, you've heard like a lot of weird sounds and a lot of weird.
Yeah, we were up there. Let's see, I think it would have been December 2019. We were up there with a gentleman named David Mills, and if anybody watched Jody Cook's documentary on the Beast of LBL, I think it's called Beast of Land Between the Lakes. Mm-hmm. He talked about a gentleman who was up there mushroom hunting, and he said it was illegal at the time, so he was laying in his tent because it was a hot day. He was laying down, and he heard somebody approaching the tent or walking through the wood line, and he thought it was the ranger, and he was scared because he said it was illegal to hunt those mushrooms up there, and he said that something that looked like a werewolf walked through the wood line, and he got to see what everybody had been talking about. And this is the same spot where that bow hunter's body was found in the soybean field. We were all camping down there, and woke up about, I think it was close to around 6 in the morning, and we heard a really weird holler off in the woods. We got it recorded, actually. And there's another, I'm not going to name names, but there's another channel that interviewed a gentleman. He was a Irish gentleman, and I believe he was on vacation with 12 other guys, 11 or 12 other gentlemen from Ireland and North Carolina. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering that story, but anyway, they seen a dogman, and they got it recorded howling outside their RV. And the same thing that they recorded hollering was the same thing that we recorded in those woods, the same thing that we have recordings of in Indian Mountain, Tennessee, which is about 26 minutes away from LBL. I think it's probably the same thing. I've gotten a lot of arguments over that, which, that's okay if you don't believe, but it sounds like the exact same thing. But even when we camped one night in the site where the family got attacked, I woke up about, I think it was around a little past 1, and I heard those same hollers off in the woods. Now, I didn't get them recorded, but I heard them somewhere off in the distance. So there's things that will holler at you up there. The biggest problem with LBL is that it's so big that it makes it hard for research, because you aren't going to have it every time, because it is just such a big area. But I mean, we have heard things down there before.
And have you? Let me ask you another question. And I saw that Hellbent Holler said they're planning on using a death whistle. Elijah, we are testing out that death whistle in the OBL this fall. What is that? Do you know anything about that?
Well, actually, I tagged them and Barton on Facebook the other day. I bought a Aztec death whistle the other day, about $34 if anybody wants to look into that. It was designed, the Aztecs used them in human sacrifice, and they sound exactly like a blood-curdling human scream. My thought, I'm not trying to do any kind of occult practice of any kind. If there's any human sacrifice, it is not my intention, or I'm not aware of such thing, but it does sound like a terrifying scream, and I wonder if that'll draw something in. Maybe I'll make something that.
What if it just draws in demons?
I'm hoping not. I really.
They just show up and they're like, "Hey, I'm a demon. My name is Damon. I know it's confusing, but I'm actually here to talk to you about insurance premiums." And you're just like, and you're stuck for a long, long time.
That'd
be horrible.
I don't want that. Somebody can death whistle if that's what it brings in.
Or they want to talk about your car's extended warranty. So have you heard, and this is another question, and I was going to actually ask Barton about this. I don't know, Barton, if you're listening. Have you heard of the shofar horn?
I have a time or two. Now, I haven't ever tried one out, but I've heard a thing or two about them before.
Somebody said here, I thought Aztec death whistle is what you get after eating Taco Bell. But so the shofar horn, but you guys never used it. I thought your dad had tried it out. I thought him and Barton may have tried it out there.
No, we know a gentleman who has told us about it before, and I remember talking to Kunbo about it one day. I think he said he's tried them before.
They told me that too. Yeah, I heard that he got it right at one point. I don't know.
Like it's a very specific kind of noise you have to make out of it or something.
Yeah, that's how you draw them in or whatever. And here's a question I had for you about the beast of the OBL. Now, on the documentary, you asked, they asked you your opinions, and of course you gave them. And what do you? And you said something about Skinwalker. What do you think about that? What is it? What is it?
Part of the aspect of the legend that I've heard about multiple times is that it was something to the effect of that there was a Shawnee medicine man, and he had the ability to transform back and forth, I guess, into a werewolf-like shape. Anything like that, I'm just going to call it a skinwalker. I know it's a different region that kind of thing came from, but close enough, basically.
Shapeshifter.
Different culture, but same similar kind of creature, so I'm going to call it that. But yeah, that's one of the aspects of the legends, and that was one explanation for the Beast of LBL, that it was a shapeshifter of sorts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
But just to be clear, that's not like your final answer. You're just thinking, hey, this could be one explanation, right? That's just what you thought maybe this just could be.
Well, I don't really think that's even what happened, honestly. That's just one of the explanations that are out there. I've heard it in a couple of places. In the 1700s, they'd say that I've heard that French hunters and trappers would describe that there's a loup-garou in the region. That's basically a French werewolf. And so supposedly something's been up there for quite a bit of time. And I guess when John F. Kennedy flooded the area and made the largest inland peninsula in America, some of it's trapped there now.
Yeah. Yeah, and
swim well sometimes, so who can say?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, brother, by the way, I just actually got a text from Barton, so I guess he is watching.
Okay.
He wanted to remind me we actually did play some audio clips of a shofar out there when we were up there with him. I completely forgot we did that.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. So I have another question, because people think that, and my good friend Ryan has done a lot of research on this, the Skinwalker legends and Wendigo and all that. All these Native American legends, they kind of line up, but they're not all the same, and they do come from different places, but there are multiple tribes that have the legend of the Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers just become a catch-all, kind of like somebody says, "Hey, you want a Coke?" and they hand you like a Pepsi, and then Barton gets really mad, takes Nightmare out. No, but or worse, you get a Shasta. But it is kind of a catch-all. People will argue and say, "Oh, well, that's not really what it is. It's not a Skinwalker because it's not technically whatever over in the Navajo reservation." Yes, but I do believe what you were trying to say is that there are different legends, but they are just a type of shape-shifting medicine man, right?
Yeah, I'm just using the term generally, like you said, like a catch-all,
Kind of generically, but and not to take anything away from Native American culture. My grandmother was Comanche, but I mean, you look at, they all have a legend of that.
They have a very fascinating culture and legend, but I'm just using the term generally.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've heard so many different takes on this, and it's just like you get Native Americans who are warring tribes like the Utes and the Navajo sick the Skinwalker on them as like a last resort. But when I did the story, Indian Reservation Horror Stories, with my cousin Trey, who lived with the Shoshone for years, he talked about the Wind River Reservation, where there was the Arapaho on one side and the Shoshone on the other. And he was talking about the Skinwalker and that they talk about these shapeshifters. So it's basically like all these different legends, and I got one from the Choctaw. And so you have all these different legends of these shapeshifters and these Skinwalkers, and you're just saying that could be one plausible theory. That's not like your final answer, or you're not banking all your $1 million answer on that. So you're just saying that could be. That's just something that, it's a theory.
Yeah, that's if you research, there's multiple websites that it will talk about that aspect of the legend. I don't think it's what's going on at all, but that detail has came from somewhere, and so it is something that is important to mention because it has been brought up as part of the Beast of LBO legend before, so we can cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
no, I think something else is going on. I think it's possible that stuff like that has happened before, in different cultures, different places around the world. But do I think that's what the Beast of LBL is? No, not personally.
Yeah. What do you think it is, though, if you had to put your money on it? If you said it was like you had to roll the dice, what would you bank on it being?
Well, I think you could have a couple of things going on. It's possible that the government is working on some sort of genetically altered creature up there that they're releasing. Am I going to accuse them of that? I'm not stupid enough to do that, but I think it's possible. I definitely personally believe, although not everybody does, and that's okay, believe there is something biological up there, because in Linda Godfrey's book is Real Wolfmen, True Encounters in Modern America. She had a story from a gentleman up there who was going up the trace in the night, and he said a big old dog man crossed the road, and it stood along the side of the road like it was waiting for something, and then 3 little puppies followed the road across it. They're kind of halfway up on 2 legs, kind of in an awkward halfway up position, but they're running across the road and is waiting for them. So that there does seem to be some sort of biological reproduction there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not to say that I think a lot of your encounters are something demonic people see. You know, I'm a classic, you know, Seventh-day Adventist Christian. I look at everything through the lens of the Bible and whatnot. So I do believe that you have the devil out there trying to terrify people with something impersonating a dog man, so to speak. You know, it comes in the appearance of that and just terrifies people. And I don't know what the whole goal that he would have, but I believe he does do that to people. That would probably explain some of the instances where people says it's just grinning at them and it had unnatural intelligence. It's just seemed like it enjoyed terrifying people. I mean, if that's demonic, I don't know what does.
You know, and was that story was that the one called the Half Pint Trail Runner?
No, I forget exactly what that one was called, but I don't got the book anywhere around me.
Because that might have been Hunting the American Werewolf. Because Linda's a really good friend of mine, and I've read all of her books, and I've even conversed with her about different stories. So I was just wondering, because like I know there was one where there was this really tiny dog man that came and ran out in front of these people. Well, I think they're riding their bikes or something, and it was like I thought it sounded similar to that.
It's cool because you don't hear actually a lot of dog man pup stories. So I mean they're rare, but when they do show up, they're interesting.
Yeah, my sister's ex-boyfriend claimed to see one.
If you've got that book, flip through it and read that story later.
Yeah, I do. I have all of her books, and I have them all signed or whatever. Which I used to do them on giveaways, but I'm not parting with them now. So,
No.
You know, but yeah, folks, if you haven't read Linda Godfrey, and then read I Know What I Saw. I think she wrote Weird Wisconsin too. She wrote that, but she's got a lot of really good books. Her and Chad Lewis are Wisconsin authors that write a lot of good stuff. But Linda is definitely the queen of Dogman. I just wish she could have been at the conference. I know she wanted to go, but she's been ill, so she needs our prayers. Yeah, and so you've been in and around. So you said you started about 13. You were like 12 or 13 when you started running around out there.
At the LBL, yeah, somewhere around the age.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, so that's like 13 years. Like, you know, 13, 14 years, right? That you've been running around there.
But in cryptid entirety since about 2001, 2002.
Jeez.
I was terrified of it at that age, but I still would sometimes do it.
So what did Johnny have you out there running around?
Well, we had an experience of sorts at a place called Werewolf Springs.
Why is it called that?
Well, the area, it's in a park called Montgomery Bell State Park. It's in Dixon, Tennessee. And if people have ever heard of the White Bluff Screamer, that park is right next to White Bluff. So you got White Bluff Screamer, you got a lot of Bigfoot sightings that have happened in Montgomery Bell. Even if anybody's familiar with the name Mary Green, she said the big feet there of the aggressive variety. But on the backside of the park, they have an area called Hall Springs. It's in Burns, Tennessee. And it has the name dubbed by the town Werewolf Springs because, as the town lore says, in the late 1800s, a circus train was coming along the railroad back there, and it derailed. It was carrying a lot of animals in its boxcars for its circus. And the boxcars burst open and the animals escaped, and they were able to recapture everything except a male and female creature on their manifest that was listed as either a wild man or a wolf man of Borneo. And since that time, people up there would describe that there's a werewolf in the region, and it got that name. There's a landowner and a farmhand that were coming through that area on a wagon, and I think they're carrying a glass door. I'm not exactly sure, but they're coming through and they seen the werewolf standing alongside in the woods. And, you know, they tried to speed up their horses, get away from this thing and outrun it, but started chasing them. They sped up their horses a little more, and ultimately it was faster, and it started catching up to them and started climbing up in the back of their wagon. And, you know, they decided, you know, we're both not going to get out of this alive, so you go left, I'll go right, and we'll just hope for the best. So they jump off, go their directions, and the landowner runs and dives behind a fallen down tree, but he hears the noises of his farmhand being torn apart by whatever this creature is. And there's multiple stories from that area. They made a documentary on it called The Legend of Werewolf Springs, and good heavens, I haven't been able to watch that again since I was a kid. You can't hardly get the park to show it. They still have it somewhere because they made another documentary for their park and had a little clip about Werewolf Springs in there. And they had a clip in there of the werewolf hands grabbing the wagon like I remember when I was a kid, but you can't hardly get them to show that anymore. But yeah, that's why it's called Werewolf Springs, and we went up there after we watched that documentary in the park, and it was a few months later because we were camping and they showed that documentary, and we finally found the location, Hall Springs, and we were hiking down in the woods. And my dad or one of the family members noticed that on the left-hand side of the path was a bunch of grass that had been pressed down. And, we decided we were going to jump off the path and go that way. We went a little further, and there was a branch about shoulder height that was twisted off, not snapped off. Twisted off is kind of a Bigfoot trait. They'll twist them off instead of breaking them off. And we went a little further, and we found a half circle of turkey feathers laying on the ground, like something had been squatting there with a fresh kill and was just kind of plucking out the feathers and laying it down around itself. Just a half circle of turkey feathers. But the main event happened when the ladies that was with us, they had to answer the call of nature, and they went off in the bushes to relieve themselves. And some bad weather kind of started rolling in, and the wind started picking up. And about that time, the train came through along the tracks on the backside of the park and started blowing its whistle. And when it did that, something started howling in reply. It sounded like it was howling out in pain at the sound of the whistle, but it sounded like an 800-pound wolf, and it's so loud, man, it would literally just shake and vibrate in your chest, and you could feel it rattle inside you, and it was absolutely terrifying. That's why I was terrified to go back there, because we'd heard this, and my dad was the only reason I would ever go back to it. I was terrified of the place. And, I distinctly had the memory of my cousin running out of the bushes trying to get back to the group while all this was going on.
Man. And you were how old?
I was 5 or 6 years old.
Geez, that would scare the crap out of me. I'd never want to go out in the woods again.
Oh, it was awful. And when we did join a Bigfoot research organization, Chattahoochee Bigfoot Research Organization over in East Tennessee, I would rarely ever go out on their hunts. I did go on occasion, but it terrified me for a good while, and then as I got a little bit older, I'd start going on more outings, and I just kind of got more comfortable with it. And now, me and my sister, we walked alone by ourselves to Hotel California around Christmas time. We've got the habit of going to Land Between the Lakes or to Montgomery Bell on holidays. We went researching on Halloween and LBL. We went to another park on Thanksgiving 2 times close to Christmas, and then we went on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I don't know how we got in that habit.
Yeah. Man, so you basically like a lot about the LBL. You know what you're talking about. You've been tromping around there for a long time since you were just a little tyke. And
pretty fair amount. LBL we got in there, like I said, around 2010 or 11, but Montgomery Bell side, a little further east, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, further east. That was around 2001, 2002.
And this Aztec whistle you have, you're not afraid to use it? You're just like, you don't care? Not going to scare you?
It's a little intimidating, I guess. I read from one of my friends on Facebook that it draws in big cats, so I'm a little leery of that.
Yeah, you don't want that.
To people.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the demonic will show up. I'm trying to use it like it's an animal lure or something.
Mm-hmm.
Similitude to that, I guess.
What would you say to people who say, I'd like to go hang out in the LBL, go hunting, fishing, hiking? I mean, just what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, one of the best pieces of advice I reckon would be if you want to see dogmen, stay toward the north. If you want to see Bigfoot, stay toward the south. If you want to avoid dangerous situations, I would avoid the north. I would carry some form of protection on you. I'm not saying carry a gun on you because it is considered illegal up there. Y'all make that decision on your own. I know I always try to be safe when I'm going out in the woods. I'm never going to tell somebody don't take a firearm into the woods, but just you exercise caution, because it is considered illegal up there to do that. So I'm not telling you to do that, but keep an eye out for cottonmouths, because there's definitely cottonmouths, copperheads. There's rattlesnakes up there. There are red wolves. I actually seen a couple up there when we were going to a place that we call Dark Hollow, where the bow hunter's body's found. That's not the exact name, but that's what we've nicknamed it. There are coyotes up there. I think I've heard stories of big cats up there, and over in Indian Mountain there's been bear tracks found, so I guarantee they're probably up there. So everybody and more importantly, there's boar up there. There's wild boar up there, and so you stand the risk to get hog cut by those. So everybody needs to exercise a lot of caution going up there, because you may never see a Bigfoot, you may never see a dogman, but there are very real natural dangers up there. And even what I'll almost promise you'll see, you'll probably get into a nest of seed ticks like I did in Indian Mound.
Lyme disease.
100 bites on me. I got into a nest of seed ticks, me and Dad. They're all over the place up there. So if you get a bite and you see that bullseye pattern on you, make sure you go to the doctor and get that checked out. They'll probably give you a round of doxycycline antibiotics to try to knock out so you don't get Lyme disease. Definitely keep an eye on that, because you don't want it.
Yeah. You with Lyme disease, you can't eat red meat, or isn't it something like that?
That's a co-infection. I've got that one. It's called alpha-gal. Mm-hmm. Anytime I have any sort of red meat, I have to go to the hospital or poke a bunch of Benadryl down my throat.
So what did you do at the conference? You didn't eat any barbecue. So what did you eat?
Well, I definitely ate some cake. I got that. I didn't eat a whole lot there. I wasn't feeling very hungry, but I was thinking about going after some of that chicken noodle soup looking stuff. That stuff looked amazing, but by the time I went up there, everything had been packed away.
Yeah, and the conference, what did you think of the conference? Did you have fun?
Oh, man, I loved it. It was a great time, and anybody who's bad-mouthing it, obviously they weren't up there, or they just got a bad spirit about them, because it was great, and nobody was arguing with each other. Everybody was kind and lovable. Everybody had something friendly to say about the other one generally. There was one negative comment I heard at the event, but I'm not going to go into that. But as a majority, it was just a really good event. And basically everybody I talked to, I think, had a good time as well.
Yeah, it seemed like it was an instant classic, and it was, everybody that was involved. Me and Lyle Blackburn rode back together, and we talked about it, he just was like, dude, that was the best conference I've ever been to. That's what he said. Lyle Blackburn's new book, Texas Bigfoot, is coming out in October. I'm going to get some copies. He showed me the advanced copy that he had gotten from Amazon. It was a really cool cover. It's got the Texas flag. It's a Bigfoot on there. So y'all be looking for that. He just made that. And Elijah, I'm going to have to interview you for my book. I'm going to have to get you on there, and then you can give me your theories, and we can talk about skinwalkers and whatever you want. So,
if you'd like to.
Yeah, I sure would. I definitely would like to. And don't let me forget, I have an action figure of your dad. And so I thought that you should have it, so I would like to send it to you.
Well, I'd be honored to see that thing. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I was supposed to get two, but I didn't, so I guess I won't get one for myself. I wanted to be selfish and keep it, as I loved your dad, and I wanted to put it up on the wall and just keep it, whatever. But it is your dad, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to send it to you. And If there's anything else you need from me, let me know, and I can send it to you along with that.
Thank you, Josh. You don't know how much I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so Elijah Henderson, everybody, doesn't know everything about the LBL, but he knows quite a bit.
Not everything, at least a little bit.
Yeah, you know some. Well, it's good talking to you, man, and happy birthday.
Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me on. It was great talking to you, Josh.
It's good talking to you, always.
All right, y'all. Have a great night.
You too. Bye. So that was Elijah Henderson from I was going to say Paranormal Round Table, but from Cryptid Studies Institute. Great guy, great kid. Can't imagine how people would say things bad about him. It's weird, you know. It's just it's a shame. Most people think he's a great guy, you know, and he's just, you know, if you give your opinion on something, you shouldn't be attacked. You know, I don't know. I can't imagine why somebody would do that. People are weird. They do weird stuff. They're like, I don't like him. There's just something about him. Something around the eyes. Yeah, I hate him. So anyways, I had somebody that I wanted to bring on real quick and talk really fast about this. Let's see if I can get him on here. He is one of my dear friends. And I wanted to ask him about something. Oh, and by the way, I need to tell you guys, I'm going to be on, what is it called? Spaced Out Radio. If you haven't heard of Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott, I'll be on there next Saturday, 9 to 10 Central Time, August 27th. So next Saturday night, you can catch me on Spaced Out Radio. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. I have a wide range of things that I can talk about, and so I don't know what all we're going to do, but we're going to talk. So let me get this other person on here for a minute. Y'all know who he is. He's becoming my part-time co-host. I'll make this call. So answer me this. Do you feel lucky, punk? Do you? See if I can get him to respond. See, because folks, the thing is about this whole deal is we're a community. We stick together. We are PRT. We're the paratroopers. We're, you know, whatever. Paranormal Round Table. And I'm, you know, proud to sit up here in the captain's chair and talk and be your captain. I'm not going to be like, I'm your alpha, bah, or whatever the heck these silly people say about themselves. That's dumb. That's amazing dumb. Ain't nobody's alpha. You know, it's just dumb. There we go. Hey, Barton, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Hanging in there, buddy.
Hanging in there?
You call me on Messenger, I can barely hear you, so keep that in mind.
Okay, so you can't hear me?
Yeah, not very well, no.
We can hear you good. Like the audio's coming in good. Can you at home hear?
Excellent.
Can y'all hear at home? I don't know.
No, Letitia's in the other room watching, and I had to come in the other room to talk. So
Yeah. So what I was gonna talk to you for a minute because we were talking about the shofar horn. I was talking
yeah,
with
the shofar.
Yeah. Do you want to say something about that? Explain that to the audience. What you guys did.
So that's a certain type of Jewish horn, spoken of in the Bible a lot, and it wasn't my idea to do that. It was Mark Maycheck was the one to come up with that idea. He's another one that thinks outside the box like that. But so Johnny and I and Elijah and Gabby and Letitia, we all went down there. I think it was the second or third try, and we made up our minds that we wanted to try that because supposedly it was effective, but we didn't have a time to order a shofar, and nobody that I knew had one. Mm-hmm. So we just got down there with Johnny's Bluetooth speaker and then played YouTube videos of the shofar, but we didn't have any luck. So I don't know. Maybe you just have to use a real one.
Well, Kumbo claims that he did it, but he had a bunch of problems after he did it. So I was going to get him on the show and talk about it. Yeah. Mark was at the conference. I got to meet Mark Maycheck in person.
Yeah, he was right there at my table. Mark's a good friend of mine. We've been friends forever. He's the go-to guy if you want to know something about the LBL. Mm-hmm. He knows just about everything that's happened down there, and he lives right there. So, yeah, he's been down there a long time.
Yeah, and I don't remember if you'd ever told your story about the Spotsville Monster, but you're working on the book, and I don't know if you told that story on my show. I can't remember. We covered so much ground.
I'm sure I did, Josh. Yeah. We talk so much, it's hard to remember what we say to each other sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we talk all the time. And if anybody doesn't know who Barton Nunley is, dude, tell me in the chat so I can explain to you. Because if anybody doesn't know who he is, you should know him by now. In my opinion, has written the best book on cryptids ever. It's in my top 5. 2 of his books are my top 5. Mysterious Kentucky number 2. Mysterious Kentucky is my number 2. And then, of course, Mysterious Kentucky number 2 is probably my 6th book, maybe, because I have a few others, like one of Linda's, like Hunting the American Werewolf. That's like probably number 3. My number 1 is Inhumanoids. And you actually had shirts from there. Did you sell out your shirts?
Right. I sold out all the shirts but the 3X and 4X.
Okay.
But thanks for saying that about my books, man. I really appreciate that, Josh. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm humbled, that people think so highly of that book.
So if anybody in the chat wants a giveaway, Barton, you can send them a shirt, right? You can send them if they're a 3X or a 4X. And,
sure can.
Yeah, and I'll pay for it and the shipping. Just we'll pick somebody in the chat tonight, and we can send them one of your shirts because there's a few people that are bigger people that didn't, and they were like, hey, I'd like to get a shirt.
Or they're making a nice nightgown for a smaller woman, whatever.
So I got somebody here, John Sablon, who came to the conference, and he was asking for 5Xs. So I don't know. You don't have any 5Xs.
Yeah, the conference was a great time, Josh. I've never really had that much fun in one weekend before without involving alcohol.
Yeah.
So it was like everybody was so happy and smiling. I've never seen anything like that before. 400 people all just happy. No problems, You say 92% positive. I've only gotten 100% positive comments on that conference, and it's amazing.
When
it's
I
just
came
really
back,
amazing
there was
thing.
about 8% of the people that were trash talking me. I mean, those people don't really exist in my mind other than to be re-trolled, because that's what they get. They open up their big flapping traps, and then they're like, you're messing with me. Well,
so there is nothing negative to be said about what happened in Paris, Tennessee last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you can't find one person there or that was there that would say one single negative thing about that. It was just something really beyond comparison. People are saying things about that conference that they've never said about a conference before. So, you did a really good thing by doing that. I think a lot of knowledge was released to the audience that night. So,
yeah,
if they only listen to it and think about what was said, they should be able to come to some conclusions about these things. So.
Yeah, of course. The only thing is, when you're holding that sword and you're stabbing the Shasta, you look like a psycho. That's the only thing.
I am a psycho sometimes. Somebody tries to serve me Shasta and tell me that it tastes just like Coke, I might get a little psycho. Yeah,
that's probably the only time though that you would consider.
But that's it.
Yourself,
yeah,
the only time you'd be considered a psycho.
Never. Yeah, that's the only time, right?
Yeah, I mean, because who wouldn't go psycho? I saw Ken right here in my studio, here outside my studio.
Ken Gerhard.
He was going to head back to San Antonio, and he slammed a Shasta, and I was like, "You're a psycho."
Oh my goodness, he must be psycho.
He must be psycho to drink. Yeah, you gotta be a psycho to drink the Shasta. Like, dude, that's freaking crazy, man. Like, unbelievable. So, yeah, and so when you blew the horn, nothing happened.
No, we didn't actually get to blow a real shofar horn. We only got to play YouTube videos of the sounds through Johnny's Bluetooth speaker. So it was pretty loud, but it didn't reverberate through all those hills and hollers like a real horn would. And I don't know. I'm tempted to get another one through the mail. It would take probably 2 or 3 months to order from Israel or wherever, and try that sometime. So I'm not afraid of doing anything like that, because if God wanted me to die by a cryptid, so-called cryptid, which really aren't cryptids at all, but in humanoids, if I was supposed to die by their hands, he would have let me die years ago on multiple occasions. So I'm just trying to fulfill my word. So that's all I'm trying to do. And whatever happens. That'd be a great way to go out. They'll be singing songs about me for 1,000 years, right?
What do you think about Elijah, who you consider like your godson, because you and Johnny were so close, and salt of the earth guy? But what do you think about Elijah using that Aztec death whistle out there?
So I'm hoping it works, brother. Yeah. That's what I think about it. It's Elijah's thinking out of the box right there. It's
but what
I don't know if that's ever been tried before. It's a low level ultrasound there, and actually Joe and Jesse Doyle of Hellbent Holler, they're cooking up some way to actually measure and see if there's any ultrasound in that area, because everybody says these things use ultrasound to what they call zap people. So we want to know if there's ultrasound there, or not. So yeah, they're really coming up with some cool stuff. We had a real good plan, Joe and I. They found a boneyard the last time they were there. It was a hill by this old pump station littered with bones, and some of them looked big, like cow bones, And we were going to get there and camp, put our tents back to back so nothing could sneak up behind us, and build a big fire, and late in the night we was going to break up some of those bones and throw them in the fire and see what happens. So we just figured if anything's in the area and they smell the scent of something they've already eaten before, they would have to come check it out, right? So that was a good idea, but while we was at the conference, all of us crammed in my hotel room, 128, Joe and Jesse was LBL, getting covered in hundreds of ticks, and finding out that the area had been swept clean, perfectly clean, not a single bone to be found in the area. So yeah, that plan kind of got derailed, but hopefully Elijah's will work. I'll test it out, whatever it takes to get one of these things to come out. Just one time, my wife and I have been down there numerous times in the past. We even slept on that alleged kill site 2 different nights alone, grilling steaks and cooking bacon. I couldn't get anything to happen. So hopefully something happens and we can get some answers and conclusions about some of these things.
Couple things here. Stephen Taylor in the chat says, what about the metallic sound that Martin Groves heard? We're not going to answer that tonight because Martin Groves is coming on the show Tuesday. Martin Groves is going to come on the show Tuesday, and he's going to talk about his experience. He's going to talk about what happened to him. It's going to be awesome. This is a former policeman. Explain to the audience who he is real quick, Bern.
Well, he's a 22-year veteran of the police force from Robertson County, Tennessee. And he got up there at the conference and said this. And it was like the first time ever, you have a bunch of these retired police. If they ever experience anything, they never reveal their name or where they work. So Martin lays it all on the line right there for all of your PRT family that attended this conference. And he had a really crazy experience while out hunting with him and a buddy. And it's going to just, everybody just, if that wasn't at the conference, really needs to tune in to the Tuesday live stream. Don't miss it, or you'll be sorry.
And if you are a listener from the UK, I have struck a deal with the famous Paul Sinclair. He's a dogman researcher and author, and he has a podcast show, very good show called Truth Proof. And it's out of the UK. I watched it the other day. He had Richard Doughty on there. It was a really amazing show. Go check it out. Go check him out. And I posted the link to that show. It's about alien and disclosure and about the different species of aliens. Pretty cool. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, and that was on the Paranormal Round Table group. If you're not a member, go join. It's free. It's Facebook. And you can get all kind of crazy stories, and people drop links to other cool shows. I don't discriminate. Like, if it's a good show, I'll put it on there. If it's been repeated, then I won't, whatever. But yeah, so Paul Sinclair, if you're from UK and you get picked as a winner of our giveaway and you're in the UK, you will get a book from Paul Sinclair. I've already given away 3 of them. So check him out. I've done, I think, a 2 or 3-parter with Paul Sinclair on my show, and I've been on his show too last October, which I'm already booked to do some shows this October. And I'm like, man, I don't want to go through the furious pace that I went through last October. I think I did, like, with all of the shows I did, and then the special with the Halloween special, and then the one we did with Ken, Lyle, and you and me.
Right.
It ended up being like 22 or 23 shows, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how you did it.
It was insane. It was like, okay, I announced, hey, I'm open to do shows, and it was like, poof,
I know how it is.
And running. Yeah, and you too. I mean, everybody, you're a hot item right now. Barton Nunley's so hot right now.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time doing this. Thanks for saying that, brother. But yeah, I'm amazed at how many people have sent me messages and comments. It's just, showing me love and support, and saying, they got my back, and I'm just humbled by that. And I want to say hello to all my friends in the audience tonight. They're all big PRT supporters, just as I am. Joe and Jesse Doyle of Hellbent Holler and Mark Maycheck. Hi, how are you guys doing? I don't know who else is in there because I'm actually not in there to look at the TV. But anybody that's coming there to listen, hey, thanks a lot.
You guys, you ever seen Zoolander? The movie Zoolander? You got to check it out. Will Ferrell and what's his name?
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. He's like, with his little dog. He's so hot right now. That's you, Barton. You're so hot right now, Barton Nunley.
No,
He's
man.
so hot right now. You're trending, Barton. You're so hot. And Inhumanoids. It's just, it's hot. It's just really hot.
Well, thanks for saying that, man. I'm just trying to be myself here, if nothing else. And
Well, what do you say Bettina told you?
I don't feel like I'm anything special other than what I've always been.
Well, Bettina set you straight the other night, sir. She's like, you
did.
Yeah, she's like, you don't think you're somebody special? I know Bettina talks. I can't do her voice.
Yeah,
But
she said, who told you he was a regular guy?
Who told you he was a regular
what
guy?
are you talking about, Bettina? I said, Betty, what are you talking about? Who told you he was a normal guy, regular guy? I said, me. You met me. I'm just a normal guy. I'm not,
He's just a psycho that likes swords.
I'm not Crocodile Dundee or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just silly stuff. But Betty, she's something else. And I tell you what, everybody had such a great time. They came in the hotel room, hang with us, Josh, you, me, and Nellie and Letitia. It was just wow.
We came back riding high like a wave. It was just awesome. We had such a great
I didn't
time.
want to leave. Letitia didn't want to leave. No one wanted to leave. Poor Joe almost couldn't leave. The witness you had, the dog man, shot the dog man. Yeah, he got stranded at his hotel room, and Letitia and I went back to help him, and he accidentally locked himself out of his truck. So,
oh no, because I left early. Me and Lyle left early, but Ken, because we had to meet Daniel Jones, Ken, and Nick Redfern. They'd already gone out ahead of us, and so.
Yeah,
Lyle's got the patience of a saint because I took forever to get ready. I was tired. I was like, oh my gosh. And then Lyle was ripping, ready to go, and he goes, I'm not tired like I was on the way over here. I'll drive. You want me to? And then, by the time we got to Arkansas, I was like, I'm good. I drove all the way. Yeah, we had a good time.
I told Joe that it was the hotel was telling him it didn't want anybody to leave, So we got to do it again, brother. And maybe we can just attain a little bit of what we had that first time. I think I told Ken the other day, I said, I think Josh is really going to blow up here, and the next year we're going to need a lot bigger venue for the conference. And he said, yeah. I said, we're going to need at least 1,000 seats for this next time. So y'all get to working on that. You got a whole year.
Roswell. We're thinking about doing Roswell.
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it in Roswell.
That's cool.
I'm going a little further west this time. I told you
I'll
guys
just
you come
drive
out
to your house, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll
ride
go
with
from
you.
there. Yeah, we'll ride together. I'd love that. But like
great.
I said, I had a great time. I mean, it was fun, but it was exhausting.
too.
You know? Yeah.
Right, yeah, it was. And I lost 5 pounds just sitting there on my backside signing books. So
here's a funny thing.
It was
Ken
exhausting.
lost his. Yeah, it's very exhausting. Ken lost his avocado. And so
Yeah?
the nice sweet person Anne Celine was helping
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she was helping to locate the avocado, and unfortunately it was lost. But I did, thank goodness, I found it in my office storage area. I was going through the boxes looking for shirts to do the giveaways, and I found the avocado. So
Really?
So here's what happened. I messaged Ken Gerhardt. And it's like I was actually talking with Ann earlier today. We were talking about this. This is pretty funny. But so
yeah, she's such a nice person.
Very,
I didn't get
very
a chance
good
to speak
individual.
with her much, but she seemed like she was a really nice lady.
She's been
And I
on
listened
Coast
to
to
your show
Coast.
with her on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been on Coast to Coast. She was on the live stream, which got kind of awkward. But then we did a recorded
Well, I thought it was good.
episode.
I really thought it turned out better
Yeah,
than you think.
it was okay. But when we did the recording, when we recorded together, and we dropped the podcast episode, and she talks about her crazy Bigfoot experience.
Yes,
That was
really,
creepy.
really
That was
good.
really creepy. Like she opened up about that. But so anyway, I was talking with Ken, and I told him that I had his avocado. I'm trying to get the thing here, getting everybody but him. So I was here it is right. I let him know. I said, here's your fruit, good sir. And I took a picture of it. This is the avocado right here. I'll show you. Anybody can see it. There it is. That's the avocado. That's the missing avocado. And so I took a picture, and the picture's so weird. It looks like it's floating. So I told him, and he said, laugh out loud. I was about to form the North American Avocado Project in order to solve that mystery. So I asked him, I said, would you like me to freeze your avocado? And he says, laugh out loud, just give it a decent burial somewhere, or eat that. Because he said, eat that because it's healthy. I said, never mind.
Right.
Unfortunately, I
What a
was
great guy.
informed it rotted in my truck.
Ken's such a great guy.
Yeah, Ken is always a good sport, too, even though he's a Packers fan and I mess with him.
Yeah, well, I like Green Bay too.
Yeah,
I can't fault him too much for that.
Y'all have flaws. I mean, you're not perfect
Oh,
people.
yes,
Well,
definitely.
that's definitely. Well, you're a
Far from
Browns fan,
perfect.
though. I thought you were a Browns fan.
Yeah, I am. That's my number one team, and it's been that way since the '80s. But I didn't like to tell people that. Okay.
Yeah. Forrest
So-
Grove says the avocado cold case. Yes, sir, indeed. So the NAAP, yes, Jesse Joe, the North American Avocado Project, and then you can be like, hey man, all these other people talking about the avocados are wrong. I'm the one that's correct
Right.
about the avocado. So
Exactly.
that's how that goes. I would just be like all the time, no, I'm the only one that knows about avocados. Everyone else is completely wrong. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So-
I am a little crazy sometimes, but I'm not psycho. So I don't know. I don't think Letitia would have married me if I was truly a psycho.
And Letitia kind of is the boss too. I kind of noticed
Right.
that she kind of she's the
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah. Well, I'll plead the fifth on that.
Okay. All right, Barton. Well, hey, and one other thing before you go, just to let you guys at home, the fans know, Barton and me are going to be interviewing Michigan Rob. Now, Rob's got a channel too, and you want to talk about a crazy Bigfoot encounter with infrasound. Tune in for that, and I'm going to throw in a story from like a retro from the old days when me and Armando were working together. And I'm going to talk about a story that kind of coincides with that one, at least to kind of give you some perspective. So anyways, we're going to be recording, and we don't know when that's going to drop. We're probably going to do like a large package and then just drop a bunch of episodes at once so I can give the fans what they want. Because And the truth is, so many people are hating on me now that I just enjoy being up here talking. Just being up here talking and knowing that it aggravates people is just enough for me. I mean,
Right, yeah,
I like to love, but
whatever it takes to get up here and do your thing, man. And you're right where you need to be. You're bringing together a lot of people.
Hate keeps me warm.
You're doing a good thing. So I'm just happy to be a part of it for you.
Letitia says Tampa Bay, baby. I like Tampa Bay. The Cowboys, number one. The Tampa Bay, number two. I like Tampa Bay too, man. Buccaneers, bro. You can't beat that.
Tom Brady fan. That's all
you can't beat that with the flag, with the cross swords and the skull. Come on, dude. It's like the Raiders on steroids, dude. It's freaking
right.
It's awesome, dude. I love the Bucs, man. You can't beat them. The Cowboys and the Bucs, dude. I wish they could be in the Super Bowl again, but they're both in the NFC. So, anyways, Barton, we'll pray for your Browns, but not for your Packers.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Okay, Packers. I'll take that. Thanks for that.
Packers. All right, guys. I'm gonna let you go. That's the great Barton Nunley. If you haven't gotten his book, go out and get it. Inhumanoids, ladies and gentlemen. Or you can get one from me that's autographed. We lost a shipment of them, and unfortunately, the Postal Service is just like, what does your box of books look like? Like a box.
Yeah, like a 30-pound box of books.
Oh, I don't know what happened to that. And that was pretty much the end of it, yeah. But we'll get it done.
Yeah, you guys have a great night, and thanks for calling me, Josh. Anytime, brother. Yeah,
man. I just wanted to make sure you understood that,
yeah. Thanks for defending me too. I want to say that, and especially Elijah.
Yeah.
It's great to have people on your side. So.
Yeah, and I appreciate you backing me up too. I wanted you to know that I don't think you're a psycho unless you're stabbing a Shasta with your sword and you're just angry at that soda because that's what it gets.
Even then, I'm not really full blown psycho.
Not full blown.
Just like 3/4 when somebody gives me a Shasta. 3/4.
He was just like, go drink a Coke, and you're like, I don't see no Coke.
Letitia said, hey baby. I said, damn, I'm thirsty, and she said, well baby, there's Cokes over there on the table. And I looked at her, I said, no, there ain't. She goes, yeah, it's cola over there. I said, it's not Coke. And Ken's standing right there. He goes, oh yeah, I tried it. It's Shasta. It tastes just like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, right.
And I looked at him. I said, what did you say, Ken? Like he's got 3 horns growing out of his face. I'm like, what did you say? He goes, oh, well, it always works for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the tea at, or something like that? Mm-hmm. He has some sweet tea or something, But other than that, Ken did a marvelous job of putting this thing together.
Yeah.
Really commendable.
Yeah, amazing. All right, man, I'm going to let you go, Barton.
Okay, good night, everyone. God bless, and y'all be safe out there.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So that's the great Barton Nunley. Yeah. So what do you guys think so far? What do we got here? What's the time? 405 people in the chat, and we've been at this for, how long have we been at this? Where's the timer on this thing? Hour and 51. What do you guys think? Y'all want to hear more stories? Tell me a yes. If you want to hear some more stories, we can keep going. Yeah, I remember New Coke. That was terrible. It was terrible. I was like, why would you try to mess with that? That's so just awful. Drink some water? You want to say hi? Say hello?
Hello. Can't hear you.
Our lawyer just showed up over here, so. Yes, somebody says yes, so I'll have to tell my lawyer to hold on. He's got his suite right next door to us, so. It's like when you got to talk to attorneys, right? I never thought I'd have 5 sets of them. I got 5 sets of attorneys. It's just crazy. People are picking on me because I'm Irish. That's why. And I like spring. And I like Irish spring. I use it to clean my armpits. Titan says, Josh, I'd like to buy, I can't see that. I need my glasses. Zana Capel a shirt. Zara, tell Josh her size and where to send it. Blessings to you. Yeah, that's fine. But she don't have to pay for it. Just send me the thing and whatever. If you guys want one from the conference, hit me up. And I can't give them all away for free because we paid a bunch of money for them, but I can give a few of them away for free for sure. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I'll give them to you for what we paid for them. How about that? You know, if somebody really wants a shirt, let me know. That way we can give them to you. If we have your size. I think we paid like 17 a piece or something like that. So it'd probably be with shipping and everything, it'd probably be 24, 25, something like that. So basically, if you send me $23, I'll send you a conference shirt. Conversation starter, and it has the logo on there that was drawn by Barton Nunley. But I do want to give Roger Carter a shout out, who's the one that drew the original logo, and he did that for me, and I appreciated him doing that. Thank you, Chris Garcia. I don't know if you're in the live chat, but he goes, glad you did not give up, Mr. Turnick. Tequila shot to you. Have a great weekend from California. And hold on one second. So this impromptu live stream has been cool. I'm going to call somebody real quick and see if they want to come on, and see if we can get them on the show. Since everybody's saying, "Hey, let's keep going, let's keep going," you know, well, why not? The night is young. It's a Saturday night, dude. Do you have to work on a Sunday? If you do, get a different job. I'm just kidding. My people work all the time. Anthony's got to go to work tomorrow during the day. Poor guy had to work today, and Tony's working, Squirt. Let me see if I can get this guy on here. I think I dialed the wrong one. Get this person. Here it goes. There we go. Well, maybe he's asleep. Huh. So, anyways, folks, let me, I have a Dogman story that I want to tell. It's pretty crazy. And I'm pretty sure I didn't tell this one the other night. But then again, I'm trying to remember if I did or not. So this is a pretty crazy story. This one actually happened in Tennessee too, but not in the LBL. It was further way to the eastern part of Tennessee, and like southeastern corner, I believe. And this person said that years ago, this was like back in the 70s, that they were asleep. And back then, you know, not everybody had air conditioning, and they were, you know, there were hills and whatever, so they lived up in the hills. And it was customary for them just to lay by the window and let the breeze come in. And so This person had their window down, but it was cracked just a little bit. And it was sort of along the vein of the story I told where the person shot it with rock salt and they claimed to have killed one of these things. But this wasn't a kill, what happened here. This was a person that was asleep, and they heard a noise, and they look up, and they see this thing just with its fingernail, this is what they said, just slicing through, obviously trying to generate a level of fear, which I've been saying, prior to even recently. I've been saying this for a long time. People say, "Oh, you started talking about that recently." No, I didn't. I've been saying this for a long time, that they try to generate a level of fear, and I think that they do that before they try to feed. And I think that it gives them something. Your blood releases a certain chemical or something, or it gives them their spirit energy. They take it from you, and they harness it, and then they use your flesh as physical food. People say, "You really believe that?" I say, "Yeah, I really believe that. I really believe they are not harmless." And I'm sick of this narrative that they're not, they're not going to hurt you. Someone who was arguing with me says, "I'm sick of the fairy tales." Me too. I really am. I'm sick of the fairy tales. I'm sick of the fairy tales that these things won't hurt you. I'm sick of the fairy tales that these things are not. One thing I'm going to say about Abe, okay, everybody was getting on him, whatever. Leave him alone. We're done. We're not fighting. But he's not the only one that draws the red circles, so continue to do that. That's fine. I'm really, DFT does it too. There's a bunch of people that do it that I don't care for. It's really stupid. You're like, "Did you see the dog man in the red circle?" No, but you did, and that makes you schizophrenic. And I'm not just talking about Abe. Me and Abe are cool. We've buried the hatchet. But one thing I do agree on is that there is a spiritual side to these things. He's not completely crazy when he talks about that stuff. And I apologize, like I said to him, the things that I said to him, but he said some things to me that were really bad. And he apologized and blah, 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 and we go on. We're grown men. We move on. That's what happens. You can say what you want about me. You don't talk about my wife. And don't talk about my friends. Because if you talk about my wife, then it's never going to end. Okay? But he apologized, and I was advised by several people that we should just let it go, and it was in everyone's best interest in the community, and yada, 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 and so I did. Okay? But here's the thing. There is a spiritual aspect to these things. I don't give a crap what people say. And that they will hurt you. Don't believe that bull crap about them not hurting you. Okay, this thing was generating a level of fear, and then it stuck its hand on it. Once it opened to the bottom, and this person was looking at it, they began to try to close the window, and this thing stuck its hand up under there. This person sat up, did the right thing. They put all their weight on it and slammed the window down on the hand. It pulled back and it howled, so it caused pain, obviously, and then this thing just smashed through the window. But it didn't come busting through like, "Honey, I'm home." No, it wasn't that dramatic. It just smashed it and then ran off like it was angry. But it also left blood. Of course, this was 1977 or 1976, according to the story. I was like 1 year old when this happened, so it wasn't me. And I was nowhere near Tennessee. And you can't prove it that I was ever there. I don't feel the need to defend my actions. If I smell barbecue, I may come to your window. And you're like, "It's a dog man." I'm like, "No, it's me. It's Josh Turner. How you doing? Do you have any weird stories?" I smelled barbecue, and I just thought maybe you could give me some food and tell me a paranormal story. Okay? That's too much to ask. Psycho. So I'm just like, where these people come off talking about how these things aren't going to hurt you. I don't understand that. I will never understand that. Here's another one. This one happened in Oklahoma. I think it was actually near not Wichita. I'm completely, yes, it was Wichita, but it wasn't Oklahoma. It was Wichita, Kansas. And there was like a cement plant or something, and this guy was pulling out, getting off of his shift, and one of these things ran right in front of him. He said it stopped when he slammed on the brakes because he was going to pull out. It stood up, and it just like went across the top of his hood like with its arm. It didn't do the claw thing and go, you know, it wasn't like, you know, that stuff happens rarely, like that really, you know, this dramatic stuff. But he said it just kind of slid its weird-looking hand over the top of his truck, and he did what any red-blooded American would do. He just slammed on the gas and said, "Goodbye, sucker." He was like, "Goodbye, sucker, bitch." He did. Angela Pallage, you told me about that. I'm just kidding. That's not what happened. I'm messing with you, folks. No, it did, though. Slide his hand over the top of it. And so I guess I said Jason was his name. He just hit the gas. He was like, dude, I got so flustered, I hit the gas. And its leg, the back right leg, got caught under the right front tire. And this thing was like, ah, you know, like how a dog would sound. And he was like, I'm like, sorry, you know, you come running out in front of me and just looking all crazy and stupid like a werewolf, 7.5 foot tall. What do you think's going to happen, sucker? Slam on the gas. I'm not going to sit here and get eaten. You know? He kind of looks like Matt Damon. So he was like, I look like Matt Damon. I don't need to be getting eaten by a werewolf. Like I said, you kind of look like Matt Damon, kind of, you know. Not a big Matt Damon fan, but, you know. And I was like, you were the werewolf. Because I think Matt Damon looks like a pre-werewolf to me. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But anyways, the thing runs over the back leg, and he says, dude, he looked back, he saw it in the mirror, and it was like flopping around, and the leg was like, you know, like messed up. Overbuilt Automotive says, yes, Josh, I buy into that they like the blood filled with adrenaline in the fear-filled person and fill on energy, and they get evil-infused adrenaline rush of their own. Weird. Yes, that's right. I do believe that. Folks, let me tell you something. You need to get your life right, or you're going to end up in a van down by the river dealing with Dogman. My name is Matt Foley. I'm a motivational speaker who lived in a van with Dogman down by the river. They make horrible roommates. They're not housebroken, folks. They poop everywhere. I can attest to that. And it is large. Oh, yeah. So, if you don't get yourself together, that's where you're going to end up. Sounds like a talk I had with my dad when I was a kid. Son, if you don't stop playing with dolls, now, what he called dolls was action figures, you're going to end up in a van down by the river. I was like, really? He's like, who's this guy? Who's this? I said, that's Destro. Destro, huh? Destro. What does that mean? And I was a little kid, and I was like, well, it's Italian for commander. Oh, you think you're smart, huh? Think you're smart. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what you're going to have? Destro and you in a van down by the river. Bam, he broke it. Threw it in my face. Stop talking about werewolves. You're 15, for God's sake. Stop playing with toys. I had it coming. I was like, okay, yeah, I probably should. I get home from football practice. Get my toys out. Whee! Here comes my dad. Oh, shit. What are you doing? Nothing? I wasn't playing with G.I. Joes. You want to play catch? That's not how it was. I quit playing with him when I was little, okay? I'm just kidding. But my dad do that. You know, he like came up and said, hey, who's this guy? I was like, oh, well, that's a viper. A viper. Oh, it's a viper. It's a viper. It didn't look like a snake to me. That's what they're called. I knew he was going to break it. You know, it's Cobra. Cobra? Oh, Cobra. Who's Cobra? That sounds stupid. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Sorry. I shouldn't play with toys. Yeah, you're right. You're a grown-up. You're 8 years old. Act like it. Let's talk about geopolitics. You like movies about gladiators? Let's talk about the economy. You're 8 years old. I'm drunk. Drive me to the bar. Then I'm drunk, or you can drive me home. Useless kid. Playing with dolls. It's a matter. I give you a smack, and he did that all the time. I got him back, though. I would pee in his liquor bottles. My favorite trick was to take the liquor and go dip it in the toilet after I took a poop, getting the poop water in there, shake it around. That was my first bartending gig. Just kidding, folks. I never did that. But a few times. But I did get into his booze every now and then. I'd be like, I wonder what Miller Lite tastes like. I need something harder. This is gross. When got the Garrison. Yeah, it wasn't even invented then, okay, folks? Come on. What do you think? I'm a psycho? You think I'm a skinwalker? Am I appropriating the legends? Is that what I'm doing over here? Huh? Is that what you think? I'm up here to amuse you? Let me ask you a question. Is anybody in the chat, let me ask you a question. Have anybody in the chat ever looked out the window and seen something staring at them? Come on. Give it to me. Give me all you got. Come on. A little people story. I sure can, but I want to see if anybody's seen anything in the window. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the pointy ears. The really large teeth. What time is it now, Mr. Wolf? My ex-boyfriend. That's not what I meant. Was he scary? He might have been scary. Maybe he didn't shower. Maybe he was, a bum. Yeah, facing the crowd. It says they need that chemical to sustain extracting the. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, be here Tuesday night watching. My crazy eggs. Which creature? I've had 3. Oh, Matt Keene. Matt, you need to get in touch with me. I got you. I was messaging you on Messenger. We need to talk. Sir, we need to talk. Yeah, just imagine being Josh's kid when it's time for bedtime stories. Then Barton took Nightmare and cut the evil dogman's head off, and blood went everywhere. The end. Sleep tight, little guy. Says, watching a remote property, was staying in a fifth wheel on site, looked out the window one night and swore I saw a man's face miles away from civilization, would have heard a vehicle. Oh, man. And they're just wandering around like prowlers, dude. That's really creepy. So let me give you this little people story. I have one. And this guy's had a dogman story too, but, I would say, look, usually we tell the whole thing and it's connected, but this one isn't really connected because this one happened to him at work and this other one happened to him on his grandfather's ranch. Now, what happened to him at work was he was there on the computer, and he actually wasn't supposed to be because his boss was gone for a couple of hours, so he went in there and was taking a little break and was messing around on the computer, him and another person, and they hear bam, 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 bam. Okay, and you get the point. He says it was like 40 lockers, just, I say I've done about 12. Let me do the rest. Okay, now we get it. So, anyways, they look on camera, and when they go and they're shocked. They look at each other, like they look on camera, and all you see is a little blur, look like a little whirlwind doing this, and then it went, and all the lockers opened, like creepy, like they opened, and then it just went run right by like the Flash. and the locker's all closed. And I don't have the camera footage, and it was footage at their workplace, you know, and it happened like 2012 or something. But I was given that story, and that's crazy. And he said it looked like a little monito, a little duende, as they call it in Spanish. He said it was brown. It was like a little flash, like a little running around. And when you stopped it, you could kind of see the face, you know, and the eyes were like kind of like, you know, like rolling back, you know. Like he was running around real fast, because that happened to me one time at the gym on BK's, the Gold's Gym, and I was there years ago. It was probably 2003, something like that, 19 years ago. And I was there, and I was at the front with my friend Bane. We called him Bane because he looked like Bane. It was crazy. My friend Bones and Squid and Diablo and Scorpion, we were all there. And we were all working out, and I was training with these guys. And it was crazy. We were at the front, and we heard bang, 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 like somebody was just slamming all the lockers. So we all run to the back where the lockers are. We're the only ones in the gym. It was overnight. It was like 3 a.m. Literally, it was 3 something, like that time of night. We go back there, and all the lockers are open. See, we heard them all close, and we go back there, and they were all open. I may have told this story before, but that's crazy. But after I saw that little, he had like a picture on his phone or whatever, dude, and I don't know what happened to it. 4 or 5 phones later, whatever, 3 or 4, whatever it is, I don't have the picture, but it was just a blurry. And I have a picture of a ghost too. I'm not lying. I have like a couple, but I'm real leery about putting them on the group or whatever, because then people go, oh yeah, that's no ghost, you know. What am I going to do? Circle it in red? And then people are going to go, oh, you're circling it in red and it looks goofy. That's not a ghost. That's just some woman hovering in the background with no legs. But, you know how it goes. People will start saying crazy things. And so I've always wondered, like if that was legit with that picture, like he got off of because he took a picture of the camera, but it doesn't look good. But he took a picture of it, And me and Anthony saw it, and I think Tony saw it, and Armando, the late Armando Salazar. It was crazy. It looked like a little duende, a little brown, little chavalito, little whatever. It's a little dude, man, a little monito. And it was running, and it was closing lockers. So I wondered, I told him, I said, I've seen something like that before. And I wondered if that was what I saw. And I've gotten a couple weird stories like that, with the lockers being slammed, and then they're open, and then they're closed. Yeah, it's just really weird. What you playing with there? His name is Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow, huh? Storm Shadow. Oh, you're such a stupid kid. Why is he white? Why is his uniform white if she's a shadow? Because that's how his uniform. Well, that's how his uniform looks, huh? What's this other guy's name? That's Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes? Is he a bad guy too? No, he's a good guy. He should be Shadow, and that guy should be Storm, White, Snow, whatever. Oh, okay. Well, you don't need these guys. So much for Snake Eyes. Don't put Shadow Man in your pocket. Nope. He's got to go too. Your mother keeps buying you this crap. I'm going to keep breaking it. Because I am a psycho. A real one. That's what it's like to live with a psycho. See, people call people names. They say things like, oh, they're a psycho. But they don't really know what it's like to deal with an actual psycho. I do. So Letitia has picked Chris Clough and Zara Carpelli to both get Inhumanoid shirts. He said, she's the boss, you said it. So you guys hit me up on Facebook Messenger, send me a friend request. I'll show you. And so then we can communicate, or you can hit me up on email, which is better if I have it on Messenger because I can keep them all together. And if you guys have ever won a prize from me and you see the little thumbs up going up and whatever, it's to keep you at the top of my feed. That's why somebody asked me, they're like, why did you thumbs up me like 3 or 4 times over the last 2 days? Because I'm trying to keep you at the top of my feed so I can keep your address on there. It's easier to look at. But, so that's why I do that. And I do have a UFO encounter, not a UFO encounter, but an abduction encounter too that I'm going to be telling. But I'm going to do a drop. Like I said, I'm going to start working on it. Michigan Rob will be the first one that I do the recording with me and Barton. Barton's going to be my co-host, and we're going to do the podcast drop. We're gonna record about 12 episodes for you guys, and just bam, drop them all at once. Probably about a month from now. Artistic Bunny says I have stories. Hit me up on Facebook. I have 2 Facebook accounts. Don't send it to the one with me standing there going like this with the banana wallpaper behind me, because I don't use that one hardly ever. That's an emergency account for when I get blockaded by the Facebook police. The Facebook police don't like it when you be doing stuff like they say you the devil. So that would happen up in there. So anyways, folks, it's been real. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad that you guys could hang out and enjoy the night with us. Could sing you a song. Ba, 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 what is that? What is that? This sounds so silly. What is that? That's what you call singing? Huh? You think you're a singer, boy? You're so stupid. I just tell him what my daddy told me. You ain't never gonna amount to nothing. Dodgers have no cards. I don't know. Just reading some of the cool comments here, man. Hanging with the cool kids tonight. Wow, Anna Karzowski says, I was too afraid to open my eyes. It growled. So you don't know what it was. What if it was just like the neighbor's like chihuahua that jumped up there and was like, yeah, you know, and you just didn't open your eyes. Turn around. Says, can we have fan ghost stories? Can we have fan ghost stories? What do you mean by fan ghost stories? Those are fan ghost stories. Or people's ghost stories that send them to me. Does anybody here have a ghost story you want to tell? We could end the night with that. Ricky Spandex says, it's typical. I just found out you were on and you're going, time differences are dumb. They're dumb. Sorry, Ricky. Yeah, dude, there's a place, I don't know if I should say the name of it. It's a company, but it's in my hometown, and a friend of mine was a guard there. And I went there one night, and he says, this place is haunted. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And it was me and another friend, you know, we were young. And he made pretty good money, and it was like a weekend, and he was like, in fact, it was like a Saturday, you know, we went there. It was like a Friday or Saturday. And so we went there one night, and I think I was like a senior in high school. And he told us, he said, dude, this place is haunted. I'm like, yeah, baloney, I don't care. I'm not scared, you know. At that point, I hadn't really dealt with a whole lot, you know. But a couple of weird things I saw. And but I could definitely feel when stuff was haunted, and we heard whistling. And then we heard, like, I thought I heard, like, his name called, and we were down the hall, and we look, and we see the shadow down the hall. And it just walked, and I was like, what the heck? What was that? And it was just, I don't know, it was so weird. I never went back. And to this day, I still, every once in a while, just like maybe about a year ago, I got a story out of that place. It's still there. Oh, Holly says, tell about Amazing Dumb. I think that's episode 74. The Amazing Dumb. Somebody asked me about one of the other skits the other night, too. There was one I told. I can't remember what it was. I told some funny one, and somebody was asking me about it, and Keith Jackson says, Ghost, you circled him in green. We got to make sure we get the colors right. That can't be a ghost. I don't see any green on that picture. I just see red. And everybody knows red's Dog Man. Artistic Bunny, you have a story? Namira says, I have 3. You need to come on. We need to do it. We need to do it. You need to talk and get on here. Matt Keene says, I'll share one. Send me your stories. I have a lot of stories, man. I have a bunch that I can talk about, but says, have you heard of Noales, Josh? Yes, Miguel Fuentes. What are you referring to exactly? Because I've heard that name for a couple different things. Are you talking about the shapeshifter? It's like a Mexican shapeshifter. Is that like Yatki or something like that? Brady, thank you, man. In remembrance of Snowy, thank you, Brady. I appreciate that. It definitely did not break even on the conference. Okay, guys, so I guess that's it then. Everybody's dropping out. We're down to 350 here. It says, I got a Poltergeist haunted house story. Corley, you got a Poltergeist haunted house story? You want to tell it? Before everybody jumps off? Because I know Matt Keene's got a lot of stories, and so does Artistic Bunny. And Anthony Silsky, he's got a lot of stories. Let me call this guy. We'll do one more before we get off here.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me, Corley?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, because I can barely hear you, so just kind of speak up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just talking directly into the phone.
Okay. So just scream like this really loud. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, everybody's asleep right now. It wouldn't go very good in my house.
Well, you got to wake them up, man.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them the party's on PRT right now.
Oh,
so,
that's right.
Corley,
Yep.
Tell me what you got going on. Brady, thank you for that, man. That's crazy. You're giving me this donation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got a house that I lived in Kansas, I think,
Another
2
one from
years
Kansas.
from
All right.
2008 to 2010 is, I grew up in a town called Oskaloosa, Kansas, and this house was about 4 or 5 miles out in the country. I moved in there with a coworker and his sister, and it was just a big old farmhouse. You know, it had 4 huge bedrooms upstairs, and I want to say it was built. What did they tell me? Like in the early part of the century, 1900. Anyways, we had right when we were getting ready to move in, I ended up needing gallbladder surgery. You know, I had problems. So actually, we were all supposed to move in together, but because I had surgery, you know, I moved in a couple weeks later, and because of that, my roommate and his sister got to pick, you know, the better bedrooms. So I ended up with they had 2 huge bedrooms, you know, and then the other side there were 2 smaller ones, and I picked the one that had the closet. It at least had, you know, had a bigger closet in it. But the problem is that also in the closet there was, I've never seen it like this, but there were stairs going a second door, you know, in the back of the closet and stairs going up into the attic. And that'll come into play here in a little bit. Anyways, really the poltergeist activity was about the first 2 weeks that I was there, and then the last 2 weeks I was there. And in between was really just a kind of a lot of residual stuff. It wasn't too long after I moved into the place that I started first thing was I'd fall asleep, you know, I'd wake up in the morning and all the covers would always be off of me. Was kind of the first thing. And I just kept thinking, well, I must be a rough sleeper, you know, or I'm kicking them off or something. But it was almost about every morning. And then what started happening was I would start hearing things, you know, kind of in the back of the closet. And it almost sounded like something, that door opening up and then something coming down the stairs in the back of the closet. And then you could literally see, you could watch the door handle on my closet on, you know, into the bedroom turn. And then it would just pop open and open up. And this happened probably a dozen times, which scared me pretty bad at first. But eventually, you know, I just got to the point where I kind of started moving stuff in front of the door to kind of stop it.
How old were you?
Oh, I was in my mid-20s. This had been 2008. I was born in 1981, so I was 27, I guess.
Oh, so you weren't no kid when this happened. This was...
No. Another weird thing that was kind of happening was these flies. I've never seen such a huge fly infestation. They were just in the windows. Now, we did live on kind of we were surrounded by cattle, you know, on one side. So the farmer that rented us the house, I mean, he owned a lot of cattle. So I don't know if it was just like that's what he told me is like there's some flies in there, but it was just crazy. There'd be like hundreds and hundreds of flies flying around in the window, you know, and of course that made me think of that movie. I think it was Amityville Horror. Mm-hmm. I'd literally have to get my vacuum, and like once an hour I'd go to the window and just suck them all up until it filled up, you know, the canister, and dump it.
Were they live when you did this?
Oh yeah. There were just hundreds of them, and they weren't like the little ones. They were kind of like the bigger horse flies.
Oh, those horse flies.
That just kind of added to the creepiness that was going on. And like I said, that probably lasted a couple months when I was there. Also, it had a huge spider infestation.
Oh my gosh. That would drive me nuts.
A lot of them were I think there's like two different types of recluse spiders, you know. There's the more venomous one, and then I think there's one called like the Mediterranean recluse.
Yeah, there's a brown recluse, a golden recluse, a southwestern recluse, here in the States anyway.
Yeah, so these were the less venomous ones, but yeah, they was just, I would have to get the little sticky spider traps and stick them in each corner.
Were they golden color?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the golden recluse.
I mean, I would just I would change them once a week and I'd probably catch 50 to 70 of them.
Golly, dude, are you kidding me, dude? Those glue traps, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, with the fly infestation and the spider infestation, it was
out in the country?
Really creepy. Yeah, this was clear out in the country, yeah. There wasn't another house around. The closest one may have been like a mile and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Next thing you know, like I said, the covers kept getting pulled off. Now my roommate had a cat. It was kind of, just say that too. She had a very big dog that was like half Great Dane, half Pit Bull, and it was just humongous. And then she also had one of those cats that wasn't completely hairless, you know, but it had the real short hair on it, and it was always cold. So like if you were sleeping, you know, it wasn't uncommon if your door was open, he'd come in and just kind of crawl into bed with you, you know, to stay warm. So one morning, you know, I told you about the covers getting pulled off. I woke up kind of feeling the covers getting pulled off me, which wasn't unusual. I just pulled them back up. And then I thought, what I felt was
being abducted.
The cat. What I thought was, yeah.
Sorry,
what
Corley, I had to do that.
No problem, I know. What I thought was my roommate's cat, you know, coming up on the covers in between my legs is what I thought it was, you know, because he had done that a couple of times. I didn't think anything of it. And I was just trying to go back to sleep, and all of a sudden, oh, wow, what's that? You are being abducted.
Yeah.
Now, anyways, yeah, I felt something coming up, you know, in between my legs, and next thing I know, a hand reaches up and grabs my wrist. And I could tell that it was like a man's hand, you know, like it was calloused. It was much bigger than mine and very strong. And it just grabbed my hand and it literally just pulled me, sat me up in bed and pulled me off towards the end of my bed until it was really hard to get away from. I did pull away from it, you know, after I was finally standing up. And then my covers kind of went flying, you know, and then I saw some footprints going into the back of the closet, and then boom, the closet door slammed behind it. It like went back up into the closet. And that was probably about the scariest part of it that had happened. And really, you know, I was kind of in a bad situation at the time. I had to live here, you know, I didn't really have anywhere else to go at the time.
Dang, to heck with that
So
crap.
I ended up just staying here. So yeah, like I said, I'd put stuff in front of the closet. Like I had a foot locker and the dresser, and I just basically put them in front of the closet to keep it shut. And eventually, most of the scary things like that just kind of started to go away after the first, you know, couple weeks, after the first month. And then a lot of what was going on was just kind of some residual stuff. Like, I would ask my roommates, you know, if they had anything weird going on, and they said they didn't. So I don't know if it was just the room that I was in or why I was experiencing these things and they weren't. The next thing that really happened was really the back door that we all came in and out of, because there was a back deck, and that's where we parked the driveway kind of went around like a horseshoe drive around to the back, and we'd all park back there by the back deck and walk up through the back door. I would be home alone, or sometimes then I would hear it sounded like, you know, somebody walking in the back door, opening it up and then slamming it. And I'd go, oh, somebody's home, you know. I think the first time I was in the kitchen, you know, cooking something in the microwave, you know, and I thought I heard somebody come in, you know, but which I thought was weird because I didn't hear a truck or, you know, one of my roommate's trucks pull up. And I thought, well, that's weird, you know. Peeked around from the kitchen and saw that there was nobody there. And this happened probably half a dozen times. And I would talk to my roommates about it, and they'd always, oh, you're just, you know, you're crazy, you know, you're not, we've never had anything like this happen, you know. And I think it was probably a year of living there before it finally happened when we were all home. You know, it happened, and it was kind of like, see, I told you. And we were all sitting there in the living room watching TV, and it sounded like somebody just walked in the back door, you know, and slammed the door. And there wasn't nobody there. So I think one of the other residual things is this had a wood stove. That's how we really heated it. It was in the basement. And I was always spent like from the fall into the winter, I was just cutting wood like every day and stocking it down there. So it was very common. My roommates didn't like to do it, so I was the only one keeping the house warm, you know, cutting wood and splitting it and carrying it to the basement and loading it up. And I would go down to the basement at times, and I would be loading up, you know, this wood stove, and I would hear footsteps, you know, which would be the first floor. Sound like something walking around in there and coming and sitting in my roommate's recliner. And then it would start rocking. Now, I didn't think anything of this. I wasn't thinking, you know, this a ghost or anything or necessarily paranormal. I just figured it was the dog. You know, he's very big. I was like, well, it must be when I go downstairs, you know, he's misbehaving and he's running and jumping on, getting up on the furniture, which they didn't like him doing, you know, and he's just jumping up on there. That's what I always thought until I think it was probably, I was there almost 2 years before. Just one. Sorry, just back. Yeah, I got calls coming in occasionally. I would hear my roommates took her, she was a veterinary vet, so she ended up taking her dog with her to work for a week one time. And I was still hearing it, and it finally dawned on me, you know, that, well, the dog's not here, I shouldn't be hearing this, you know, there's something else. You know, because I'd get upstairs, you know, when this would happen, and the rocker would be rocking back and forth. When I got up there, and I figured, oh, the dog jumped out, you know, because he heard me coming up the stairs. So yeah, it wasn't until my roommate took him to the vet, you know, and I realized he wasn't there. Then I heard it again, you know. I was like, oh, this whole time, you know, like this wasn't the dog, you know, walking over and jumping into or sitting in the recliner rocking. It's something else. That was kind of a scary realization. And like I said, like this whole in between time, you know, it was like the first 2 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks was when the real kind of scary stuff started happening. I was working out of town, you know, so I wouldn't get home till really I did construction. I think I was working in a quarry, you know, like a couple hours away. And also I should say, at one time I got really, really sick. I think with that, what was it called? The H1N1.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I almost died. I was in the hospital
Yeah, I
for,
had it too.
I don't know, 7 or 8 days or something.
That swine
And got
flu.
really,
there.
I just got really, really, really sick.
Yep. 2012 or 13, something like that.
Well, no, this would have been like 2009, I think.
Yeah.
2010. So,
yeah, you know what? I think it was like 2010. Yeah, that's what it was.
So even when I got released out of the hospital, I was still sick, with like kind of like a pneumonia for a long time. I was probably sick for a couple months. And this was towards the end. This would have been, I think, I moved out of there like a day before Halloween in 2010. I came home, and one of my roommates was gone, like moved out all of a sudden, just quickly. I don't know what it was, but and then the other one was like just getting ready to move out, had like boxes and stuff packed, and it was just a shock, I was like, well, what's going on, And they told me, well, we're getting out of here. I'm like, well, what happened, is kind of what I started asking them, and they didn't really say, but I had kind of had a feeling, that they had finally experienced something too. I never really did get it out of him, because they were just in such a hurry to get out of there. He was literally packing up, the last of his stuff into a box. He's like, I'll be back for the rest, next week or something. And they just kind of left me here in this house alone, which really kind of scared me, because I told you about the poltergeist stuff that happened when I was there, the first couple of weeks. And I just had this strange feeling, that when they were gone, like this was going to get worse. And it really did. So very sick, and coming home, and then about every night, the stuff in the closet kind of stopped, but started hearing stuff, while I'd be up in my room. I'd basically just go up in my room and lock myself in there, at night, and just try to go to sleep. I would start hearing stuff like people were downstairs. I could hear people rummaging around, like the door opening, people going up and down the stairs, like somebody's home, and I'd leave and go down and look around, and like there was nobody in the house. But it just kept, I'd know when it would kind of manifest, because I'd start to get this, it's going to sound weird, there'd be a strange like static kind of feeling or sound in the air. And when this would happen, it kind of sounds like a crackling, kind of like almost a hum. And like I knew that it was getting ready to manifest, whatever it was.
Like an electrical crackling noise?
Yeah, very similar, yeah. And you could feel it. And it'd always kind of be right outside my door, and I could hear it. And it would get to the point where I knew it was trying to scare me. It would run up and down the stairs and come up to my door and hit the door, and I ended up buying like these were some old handles, I think they even took like the skeleton key. Nobody had a skeleton key anymore, so I just have one of those. I think I went to the hardware store, with the little hook and the little eyelet. I put one of those on my door, just so it couldn't open my door, and basically just sit in my room, turn TV on, and try to get some sleep, even though I never would. And I never really said much to anybody, especially with the people I was working with. I don't know if you ever work construction, they're kind of really manly, they would have really hazed me, if I told them, I was experiencing, poltergeist in my house. But I was always trying to stay at work late, At the time I was the foreman on the job, so I was, we got to stay late. Like we should go ahead and stay late, a couple hours, and they'd always be getting angry with me when I go home. So a lot of it was just I'm sorry. I occasionally have somebody trying to call me on this line, so I just keep sending the call to voicemail. I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
So a lot of it was just that I didn't want to go home, because I knew that as soon as it would get dark, a little bit after, this would manifest and start messing with me. So it's about the last night that I was going to be there. I'm packing up, trying to get out of there myself. I arranged to move in with a new roommate. But I still I think I had to wait a few days. So I'm getting packed up, and I hear this pump. In the basement, it would flood occasionally if it rained hard. So there was a sump pump in the basement. And all of a sudden, I kept hearing, this thing kind of messing with me, knocking on the door, trying to open it, running up and down the stairs, knocking things, around downstairs. It sounded like it was just making a heck of a mess, but I'd go down and check and there was nothing there. but I think it was about the last night that I was there, the sump pump came on, but it hadn't been raining at all. So I'm like, there's not really any water in the basement. And I really didn't want to go down there. But at the same time, I didn't want the owner's, sump pump to burn up. So I let it run, for an hour, and I could hear the thing out there, running up and down the stairs. And I'm like, I gotta go down there, to deal with this. I gotta go down there, to see why it's turning on. And I just knew that when I went down there, like something bad was gonna happen. So I had, when I got my courage, this is probably, 10 o'clock at night. I go down to the basement. There's a landing about halfway down to the basement, and I went back. I knew something was going to happen, so I went back up, and there was a rug, up by the basement door that opened up, from the living room to go down to the basement. And I had actually purposely bunched up the rug, on the door. The door couldn't get shut behind me, and I just had a feeling, like it was going to shut the door. So I went down to the basement, found the sump pump, and I unplugged it. I didn't know what else to do, which I felt bad, if it did rain, then it was going to flood down there. So I get that unplugged, and as soon as I turned around to come back up, I can hear something up, at the top of the stairs. And sure enough, I hear the light switch, flip off. So now I'm in complete dark. I think, I can't remember if I had my cell phone with me or not. I don't think I did. I think it was completely dark, and this basement's really, really old. There's all kinds of stuff stored down there. I mean, there's traps from, 100 years ago down there, all rusty, hanging up on the walls. There's all kinds of boxes of stuff, and I'm tripping, falling down there, and I can hear it, slam the door. I had to have pulled that rug out, to get that door to slam. And I just remember tripping over everything, running, trying to get out of there, running back up the steps and trying to get the door, and the door was being held shut. It was almost like the rug, because the rug was bunched up in it, when it slammed the door shut, it was really, kind of jammed up on there, and I couldn't open the door back up. So there was another door up on the landing to go outside. So I had to end up literally going out, the back door outside and walking around to my truck where I had a spare key, to get back in through the back door. And then basically I did go back up to my room, and just trying to shut myself in there, didn't really sleep. And then the next day I was out of there. But yeah, that's my story about the poltergeist house.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And when I moved into the other house, I would occasionally hear, that static sound again, like it was trying to manifest, again, but it never really did. I could just hear it trying to, but nothing ever happened. But I just thought that was strange. It was really the first month that I was in the new house, I could still hear that manifestation going on. But yeah, it never did manifest or do anything. But so, I mean, I was kind of glad there. I got out of that situation. It really stopped. When I left the house. So. And I don't know if it had anything to do with me getting sick, or if it was just. Yeah, I think the scariest part though was the last day, going down the basement because it did shut I knew it was going to shut that door. I don't know how I knew that. I just knew it would mess with me. That's why I put the rug there, trying to get it to keep from shutting, and then it kind of backfired on me because it slammed it shut anyways, and I couldn't get it open. And I still don't know what scared my roommates out of there, why they would just not tell me, hey, give me any notice that we're moving out. They just up and left. I came home from work one day and one's already gone, most of her stuff packed, and the other one, I didn't really get along with them. I don't know if you ever had a roommate, they say that's the fastest way, to make an enemy. And you might be friends when you move in and when you move out. So I haven't really talked to them too much since then. I know they were a little bit upset because some of them went back, to kind of clean up to get the deposit back, and I just packed up my stuff and left. I didn't care about cleaning up. I didn't want to spend any more time there. So they were a little bit upset with me about, not helping enough to clean up to get the deposit back. I think they did get the deposit and never gave me my share, and I said that was fine. So anyways, I never did really talk to them about what made them move out, but I can only imagine that they must have experienced something as well.
So Corley, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Daniel
that was
Palmquist
really-
says my mom had a
Oh.
rocking chair against the wall with stuff on it, and it started to rock 3 times for no reason. Rocking chairs are really creepy if they're inside and they start moving by themselves.
Well, like I said, I would come up from the basement and I would see it rocking, you know, and I just assumed, you know, the dog was hearing me coming up the stairs, you know, and would jump out. So, I mean, this happened for the 2 years in between. Like, not every time I go down there, you know, but, you know, probably more than half, you know, I'd hear it, something walking and jumping or sitting down in the chair. And like I said, I just thought it was this large dog, you know, half Great Dane, half pit bull, that my roommate had, you know, was just getting on the furniture when he shouldn't have been. It wasn't until I knew he was gone, you know, that I come up and seen it rocking, and I was like, oh, you know, and then it dawned on me, you know, he's not here, you know, like something else is sitting in. I mean, maybe it was just a ghost favorite recliner, I don't know. But
Yeah, there's somebody that just said in the chat, oh, P-Head Incorporated said you just woke up a little bit ago and you're in the UK. Like I said, if you're in the UK and if you go and I'm going to drop the link to this on the Paranormal Round Table group, and if you go and you leave a comment on Facebook, you can win a book and you know, maybe some other stuff from PRT. So P-Head Incorporated, go leave the comment when we drop the link on this to the Paranormal Round Table group. And you might, if you're chosen and you're from the UK, I made a deal with Paul Sinclair, the dog man researcher, but he's also got the show Truth Proof. So check it out. Check out his show. I cut a deal with him, so he'll send you a book, an autographed book of his. He's got good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. Thank you for that story, Corley. I appreciate it, man.
yeah, no problem. You can always hit me up if you need it. I've got several other encounters. You know, like I said, I own a taxi business and been driving.
Yeah,
you know,
you've been on the
taxi at
show
night
before
for-
telling a creepy story
Yeah.
about the taxi. So.
Oh yeah, about the possessed lady. I think I picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you, buddy. Thanks. Have a good rest of your night.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Bye.
Yep.
So that was Corley. Couple of comments here I was going to respond to. Amy said my sister was being played with on a plantation home in North Carolina once, up all night with voices and this empty room with a baby carriage moving around. Some of these stories are just like, that's crazy. Somebody made a comment, and I don't have my glasses, so I'm trying to. That's why I'm like up here, like looking all goofy. Yeah, Destiny to get some sleep. Oh, I just saw it. Somebody had made a comment about pops and snaps, but I can't see what it is. Maybe one of my moderators can tell me who it was. I'm trying to find the comment because I wanted to say something about that. That's because that's something that comes up, dude. Like I can't find it, and I can't see very good. Without my glasses, I can't really see what the heck I'm looking at here. It's kind of hard to read. I'm farsighted, so. Anyways, somebody said something about pops and snaps. Yeah, I've studied like different hauntings, and I've gotten stories from people who've had different types of hauntings, and it's come up more than a couple times in these stories where people will tell me that they hear like a snap or pop, and something will happen. There'll be like a haunting that'll happen from after the pop and the snap. One of my haters messaged me and said, "Here's Josh Turner telling the same old tired stories over and over again." Like I'm some babbling old fool just telling those stories. And then I saw it. Well, it all started when I died and became a ghost. I don't know. I don't remember telling these old stories like tired old stories like some old prospector guy. Well, you know what, Sonny? I was working in the mines and I saw a ghost. Apparently that's what I do. I just tell the same tired stories. These other people are so sickening and just so rotten. But you can say what you want because you're out of range and you're at home by your computer. Zara Capelli says, I don't have Josh's email. Sorry to be dumb. The email is joshturner@prtpodcast.com, but what you can do is just send me a friend request on Facebook, so it's easier to keep track of that way. Amy says, we don't care about trolls. I don't either, but it depends on what they're doing. If people talk about me like, oh, there's all this drama and you do this, you do that. I don't care about the trolls until they cross a certain line where you begin to become threatening, especially to my wife or my family, or you start saying horrible things about being glad that my pets die, or you talk crap and lie on my friends, talking about my conference and saying that it was, that I was gouging people at the end there with prizes, which I was giving stuff away for free, and there was only 50 people there when there was like 350 people. Plus the staff and everybody. There's over 400 people in that building, and they're just like, oh yeah, sure. Like, shut up. Get out of here, dude. Beat you into a fear coma. People like to leap before they look, just silly, say things, pop off from your mouth. And then when somebody calls you on it, oh, I'm going to just, double down. Not a good idea, man. Maybe you should shut up. And eventually maybe we can teach these people to shut their freaking mouths. And that it doesn't pay to pick on people from the PRT family. It doesn't pay to mess with people. Maybe we could learn to be more cordial. If more people would start standing up to these people and calling them out for their bullcrap, then maybe we could, could affect the change that needs to be made, so that we don't have to get messed with, and good people don't have to get messed with and get hurt, their feelings hurt all the time because they can't say nothing or do nothing because somebody's going to mess with them. There's so many people that are just like, oh, I don't like drama, so they don't want to, unless it's something that they really care about, then they do it. But they don't care if it's happening to someone else, their friends, because you have to have a thick skin, but there's a limit. And that's the problem, is that if you're going to do something, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you exactly how it is, how I feel, and what I think of you. And I'm going to say it publicly. I don't give a crap. You shouldn't. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I can't stress that enough. If you're not a chef, don't be in there trying to freaking, cook. Brady says, if the troll doesn't like it, go somewhere else. No one's forcing him or her to watch or listen. Yeah. Also, Brady, you said earlier, that PRT is the only real family you got. Man, that means a lot. Thank you for the surprise live stream. PRT is the only real family I have. It's kind of sad, but at least you have us. We are a family. I know I'm not going crazy, man. I saw somebody say something about snaps and pops, and I was just like, I wanted to read the comment. I already talked about it, but it's just driving me nuts because I'm sitting there going like, I know I saw that. And people that were asking me what happened with this other person or whatever, I'm just going to go over it one time, and that's it. We were talking about it earlier, but they said something about Barton and something about Elijah. They attacked Elijah for what he said on the American Werewolves movie by Seth Breedlove. Just had to pop off. Couldn't keep your comment to yourself. This person's always popping off, always saying some snarky thing and think that they're being funny, and then they think they're cute. I'm doing hot girl stuff. Really? Hot girl? You use that definition quite loosely. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyways, so I guess that's it, folks. Stephen Bates, thank you for that donation. That's cool. I appreciate that. And Artistic Bunny, Matt Keene, you know where to hit me up, and maybe we can get you on the show. Tell me how you like the format that we've changed to. We're not like I said, I'm going to do a bunch of recordings. I'm not going to stop those, but we're going to do like a large drop. And tell me if you like that, or if you want me to just try to release them as we do them. I don't know. Face in the crowd says you're winning and losers hate the winners. Yeah, they do. Yes, I do have more ranch stories, but not right now. Not enough to really make up a whole lot of a show. Not to make up a show. I have enough to just fill like a little bit, But I have the neighbors, the Hitchens. I haven't finished covering theirs yet. There's two of them, two brothers. Corley Cantor, thank you for that. Somebody says, seriously, hot girl stuff, how immature, or just block her? Yeah, you can just block her, but I can't. It's not that simple. She's a really good friend of mine's girlfriend, or he said ex-girlfriend. I don't know what's going on with them, but it's kind of a complicated situation. But, this person said a lot of stuff, and now they want to put me on blast. Go ahead. I don't give a crap. You think I care? You get stupid enough, and then you'll get sued, and then you'll learn your lesson. Josh, it was me. Okay, Amy, what did you say exactly? It says, I saw female blue energy in my room. It was like static energy, snaps and pops. Yeah, because I went into a house that was haunted, and I said this before, and they were like, come here, I'm going to show you this stuff on the wall. Touch the wall. So I did that. They're like, no, over here where this pink goo stuff is. I'm like, no, not doing that. Freaking blender, the ninja goes off. Like, no, I'm good. Definitely haunted. Well, see ya, because I'm not a Ghostbuster. All right, folks, we're gonna see you on Tuesday, folks. I can't tell you enough. This is gonna be a game changer. Game changer, as the Russian tank crew said in episodes, what is it, 66 or something like that. Hey, Boris, you seeing what I'm seeing? I don't care what you see. I've been drinking vodka, the Bigfoot. I don't know if you remember that skit. I think it was episode 66. Anyways, something like that, 69, 66, something like that. So, it's a game changer. This guy's going to come on, he's going to tell a story. He told it at the conference, and if you weren't at the conference, then you're not going to know. But we're going to go deep into this stuff with him, and he's going to give a bunch of information. He's written a book. And I'll introduce him to you on Tuesday. Tuesday, you got to be here. You got to see this. You got to hear what this guy has to say. He's a police officer. He's going to give you a bunch of information about these things and about how they actually do kill people. They do. And he's going to tell you. He's going to come on and be like, let me tell you something. Hopefully not. But seriously. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been real. It's been fun. Yeah, somebody says they need to leave Elijah alone too. Yeah, exactly. The good kid doesn't mess with anybody. You can mess with me. I don't give a crap. I'm a big dog. I can handle it. Sometimes I get emotional. I get upset. But it's when they're messing with people I care about. You know, that's when I get upset. All right, guys. I'll see you. Hope everybody enjoyed tonight. Mm-hmm.